Chapter 761 Advanced Antidote Pill, 2. Where is this place? The little old man's face was full of question marks. At this moment, Len Ruoxue picked up a jade slip on the table and sent her divine sense into it. We want to complete the third mission here, Len Ruoxue explained after reading it. What's the third mission? The little old man and the others were very curious. Refine pills, divine-level antidote pills, Len Ruoxue said softly, but she was depressed in her heart because she had never refined divine-level pills at all. Alas! Wasn't this making things difficult for them? Moreover, they had prepared food for them for countless years, presumably prepared to work hard for a long time. What? The little old man was shocked, thinking that he had heard it wrong. Grandpa Du, the third mission is to refine a divine-ranked antidote pill. Moreover, it has to be at least an intermediate divine pill and above. Len Ruoxue explained very clearly this time. As far as she knew, divine-ranked pills were different from the pills they knew now. Even the same divine-ranked pill was divided into elementary, intermediate, advanced, holy, and the best pill kings. Most of the divine-ranked pills were only elementary even if they were successfully refined. In order to refine better quality pills, one had to have more herbs, heaven, earth, people, and none could be lacking. Lass. Whether we can go out this time will all depend on you, the little old man said helplessly. Alas. A divine-level pill. Other alchemists might not know, but he knew very well that if they refined a divine-level pill, they needed to have two elements. First, they had to have the intrinsic divine flame. Second, they had to have sufficient spiritual energy to support them. Therefore, alchemists in this world might not be able to refine divine pills even if they had the intrinsic divine flame. The main reason was that the spiritual energy in their bodies was insufficient. Grandpa Du, I've never refined a divine pill before either, Len Ruoxue reminded. It's okay. Your hopes are the greatest, the little old man said with a smile. Lass, he asked us to refine antidote pills. Does he have a pill formula? What about herbs? The little old man continued asking. Yes, not only do we have pill formulas, but we also have herbs and food, so we will probably stay here for a long time, Len Ruoxue said speechlessly. Alas! Everyone she could think of had thought of it. What else could she say? She really regretted taking this mission now. Why were you so curious about the bottom of Black Mist Cliff for no reason? Great, she was trapped here now. Suddenly, a loud bang attracted the attention of Len Ruoxue and the others. Empty, what are you doing? Cold sweat broke out on Len Ruoxue's forehead as she asked in puzzlement. Hee. I'll try to see if this wall is sturdy, Empty explained. Then he attacked the wall with mystic energy again and again. Empty, don't waste your energy. That wall won't break, Len Ruoxue said speechlessly. Alas! Why was Empty so childish? Is this wall made of millennium meteoric iron? Empty asked curiously. No, it's 10,000-year-old black iron, Len Ruoxue said. Oh, no wonder. Empty stared at the entire wall with shining eyes, thinking how good it would be if he could steal a piece. Empty, don't have any ideas about that wall. Let's think about what you will do in the future. Len Ruoxue said helplessly. What else can we do? We can't go out again. Boo-hoo, Empty said gloomily. Then he looked at Len Ruoxue with tears in his starry eyes, his eyes obviously saying it's up to you. You can enter the space, Len Ruoxue reminded kindly. Okay, I'll enter the space and stay there. Empty said after some thought. Okay. What about you? Len Ruoxue looked at the freak and the others and asked. I'll accompany you, the freak was the first to express his opinion. Lass, I'll accompany you too, the little old man said. Master, I'll go into my space. Feng Wu said. Well, she couldn't help much outside, so it was better to cultivate in her space. Okay. Len Ruoxue nodded, sent Empty and Feng Wu into the space, and moved Zheng En out. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Miss, do you want to refine a divine pill? Zheng En asked excitedly. It's not me, it's us, Len Ruoxue said with a light smile. Ah. Miss, I can't, Zheng En said hurriedly. Boo-hoo. His spiritual energy was not enough to refine divine pills. It's okay. I've prepared spirit fruits for you, Len Ruoxue said with a smile. She had thought about it, so she couldn't allow Zheng En to refuse. Moreover, Zheng En, this is a good opportunity to practice. We don't need our own herbs, what are you afraid of? Len Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. Ah. Are those herbs enough for the two of us to practice? Zheng En was a little tempted. He naturally didn't want to let go of such a good opportunity like others providing herbs. However, if there were too few herbs, it was better to let Miss practice. After all, Miss' chances of successfully refining the divine pill were much higher than his. Don't worry, it's definitely enough, Len Ruoxue said mysteriously. Then she picked up the storage ring on the table and handed one to Zheng En. The herbs in this ring were enough for them to cultivate for a few years. Zheng En took the ring and sent his divine sense in. Then he revealed a face full of joy and said, Miss, I will practice well. After speaking, the two of them each occupied a corner and began refining pills. A month later. Len Ruoxue and Zheng En were still practicing non-stop. Moreover, they had refined more than 1,000 times in the past month, but they had never succeeded once. The freak and the little old man sat in chairs, drinking tea and chatting. However, none of them dared to speak loudly for fear of disturbing the two of them in their alchemy. Alas! It's been a month. I don't know how long more will it take to succeed. The freak sighed softly, his stunning face full of depression. Let's wait slowly. It's not ordinary difficult to refine a divine level pill in this world. Fortunately, the concentration of spiritual energy in this secret room is not bad. Otherwise, it's impossible to refine a divine level pill, the little old man explained softly. Okay. The freak nodded and then locked his gaze firmly on Shuer. 3 months later. Len Ruoxue looked at the ruined medicinal dregs in the pill furnace in front of her and was depressed. Boo-hoo. She actually failed again. She had lost count of how many times. Chapter 762 Advanced Antidote Pill, 3, Shuer, rest for a while. The freak walked to Shuer's side and said with concern. Okay. Len Ruoxue nodded. Then she hugged the freak and said aggrievedly, it's been so long, but I haven't even refined an elementary divine pill. Luckily it's not your medicinal herb. Otherwise, how heartbroken would it be, the freak reminded with a naughty smile. Oh. That's true. Len Ruoxue's mood improved significantly at this point. After speaking, Len Ruoxue pulled the freak to Zheng En's side and carefully observed. At this moment, Zheng En was at the most critical stage of condensing pills. Moreover, he was afraid that he would not be able to supply spiritual energy, so he kept stuffing spirit fruits into his mouth. Len Ruoxue and the freak couldn't help breathing when they saw this scene. Alas! Another failure. Not long later, the charred smell of the herbs emitted from the pill furnace. Zheng En knew that he had failed again. It was really a pity. Everything was fine before, but he kept failing at this step. This was really depressing. Miss, when did you come? Did you succeed? Zheng En suddenly looked up and unintentionally saw his miss, and couldn't help asking expectantly. Alas! I failed too, Len Ruoxue said gloomily. Take it slow. How can a divine pill be refined so easily? The little old man walked over and comforted her. Okay, Zheng En, let's work hard together. Len Ruoxue encouraged. Then she kissed the freak's face gently and returned to concoct pills obediently. Another month passed. Len Ruoxue, who had been in the secret room for 4 months, finally refined a divine-level antidote. Let me see it quickly. The little old man, who had been waiting by the side, snatched the pill impatiently as soon as Leng Ruoxi's pill was out. As expected of a divine-level pill. It's actually covered in traces of spiritual energy. The little old man's eyes lit up as if he was looking at his beloved. Grandpa Du, that's only an elementary divine pill. Our mission requirement is above the intermediate level. Leng Ruoxue reminded. Alas. It took 4 months before she refined an elementary divine pill. The intermediate level. It was really a long way to go. The elementary level is also a divine pill. It's better than nothing. Give this pill to me, the little old man said shamelessly and then directly stored the pill in his ring. Master, you're too much. Why didn't you tell me? Zheng En pretended to be displeased. Didn't you see it? Hurry up and go back to refine your divine pill, the little old man urged. Humph. So stingy. Zheng En said angrily and walked back very reluctantly. Although it took 4 months, being able to refine a divine pill instantly boosted Leng Ruoxu's confidence. Therefore, she decided to continue working hard and strive to refine an intermediate divine pill as soon as possible. After that, Leng Ruo continued to refine divine pills. However, what she refined was still elementary because she had to increase the success rate of elementary divine pills to more than 50% before she could begin to refine intermediate divine pills. Even then, she only had a 25% chance of refining intermediate divine pills. Moreover, even if she used an intermediate pill formula, she might still be able to refine elementary divine pills. With the stimulation of Leng Ruoxi's elementary divine pill, Zheng En finally refined his first elementary antidote pill 2 months later. Zheng En was so happy that he couldn't even speak as he looked at the divine-level pill in his hand, which was light blue and had spiritual energy entangled in it. He just smiled foolishly. Stinky brat, don't be too beautiful. Shuer has already begun refining intermediate divine pills. You have to hurry. Otherwise, you'll be too behind, the little old man reminded Zheng En as he gently patted his head. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Ah. Master, Miss is a pervert. I can't compare to her, Zheng En said spinelessly. Boo-hoo. Why were they comparing him to Miss? Wasn't this bullying? Useless stinky brat. Can you have some ambition? The little old man roared, even though he knew that what his disciple said was the truth. Well. That girl was born to deal a blow. Okay, master, I'll continue then. Zheng En said. Then he lowered his head and fiddled with the herbs in his hand. Another 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. Leng Ruoxue looked at the pill furnace in front of her gloomily. At this moment, there were 10 light blue pills lying in the middle of the pill furnace, but not one was what she needed. Now, the success rate of her refining elementary antidote pills could already reach more than 80%. Moreover, she was very satisfied with the number of pills she refined, but she was still unable to refine intermediate divine pills. Alas! It really made her speechless. After being depressed, Leng Ruoxue picked up the herbs defiantly and continued refining. Humph. She didn't believe that she couldn't refine an intermediate antidote divine pill. Leng Ruoxue threw herbs into the pill furnace again and again, refining, purifying, condensing, and tempering. She did it very carefully step by step, but the final pills she refined were always unable to meet the requirements. Just like that, the cycle repeated again and again. Leng Ruo's success rate in refining the elementary antidote pill could already reach 100%, and this almost used up another 2 months. Lass, rest for a while. The little old man came to Leng Ruoxu's side and said with concern. Alas! They had stayed here for almost a year. The girl and her foolish disciple were about to become alchemists. They kept refining pills day and night. Fortunately, they had spiritual fruits to support them. Otherwise, they would have probably exhausted their spiritual energy long ago. Alas! Refining pills was also a labor of strength. Yes, Grandpa Du, how's Zheng En's refinement going? Leng Ruoxue asked with concern. Boo-hoo. She seemed to have not left the pill furnace for a long time. Not bad. The success rate of elementary antidote pills can already reach 50%, the little old man said with satisfaction. Oh, that's good. Leng Ruoxue said happily. Then she chatted with the freak for a while and continued refining pills. After refining for another 9 times, Leng Ruoxue looked at the light blue pill in the furnace and sighed softly. Alas! Deity-level pills were so difficult. After refining for so long, the quality of her current pills still couldn't reach the intermediate level. However, the quality was a little higher than the elementary level. Thinking of this, her confidence increased a little. Chapter 763 Advanced Antidote Pill, 4, half a month later. When Leng Ruoxue threw the herbs into the pill furnace again and did every step to the extreme, for some reason, she had a premonition that the chance of success this time was very high, so after condensing the pills and tempering, her eyes stared intently at the pill furnace. The freak and the little old man, who felt that something was amiss, were also attracted. However, neither of them dared to make a sound and also stared at the pill furnace intently like Leng Ruoxue. After a while, the unique fragrance of the pills emerged from the pill furnace. The 3 of them knew that the pill refinement was successful, but whether it could reach the intermediate level was unknown. Shuer, open the pill furnace and take a look, the little old man urged impatiently. Leng Ruoxue found herself a little nervous. After all, she felt very good this time, but she was also a little scared. Don't be afraid. If it's not an intermediate one, at most, I'll refine it again, the little old man comforted. However, just as the little old man finished speaking, suddenly, boom. Several loud bangs sounded in the sky above the secret room. This sudden sound shocked the few people who were not mentally prepared. What's this sound? Is there thunder? The little old man said in surprise. Grandpa Du, this secret room is made of 10,000-year-old black iron. You can't even hear thunder, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. However, just as she finished speaking, the pill furnace shook uneasily, as if it was very scared. Big sister, it's pill tribulation, Qing Ju said via voice transmission from the bracelet. Pill tribulation? Qing Ju, are you sure? Leng Ruoxue sent a voice transmission in surprise. Yes. Qing Ju nodded with certainty. Usually, pills or artifacts that could cause heavenly tribulation when successfully refined were not ordinary. Qing Ju said that the lightning just now was a pill tribulation. Leng Ruoxue told the little old man and the freak what Qing Ju told her. After speaking, she opened the pill furnace. However, as soon as she opened the pill furnace, the deep blue pill lying in the middle of the furnace obediently ran into her hand. At this moment, a message came from her mind. Advanced Antidote Pill. ADV. Advanced? Leng Ruoxue was speechless. She had concocted it countless times, but she only wanted to concoct an intermediate antidote divine pill. However, who knew that the intermediate didn't succeed and instead concocted an advanced pill? This was too unbelievable. However, she was also a little depressed. Why couldn't she concoct the elementary and advanced pill formulas for the intermediate antidote? Pill tribulation. Lass, I heard from Grandmaster that only pills above the intermediate stage of the divine pill might have a pill tribulation. Could it be that the pill you just refined has reached the intermediate stage of the divine pill? The little old man said with a face full of joy. Ah! This pill was a little different from the previous one. However, the dark blue divine pill in her hand became unhappy before Leng Ruoxue could answer the little old man. The pill floated from Leng Ruoxue's hand and came to the little old man. It circled him a few times and then knocked into his forehead. After doing all this, the pill slowly returned to Leng Ruoxue's hand and rubbed against it coquettishly. Shuer, it actually hit me, the little old man said dumbfoundedly. Boo-hoo. He was actually attacked by a pill. No one would believe it if news of this got out. Ah. Leng Ruoxue was a little speechless seeing the pill's human-like behavior. Alas. Why was this pill so spiritual? Grandpa Du, it's an advanced divine pill. It's unhappy that you said it's intermediate, Leng Ruoxue explained helplessly as she looked at the protesting pill in her hand. Ah. It's actually advanced. No wonder. Boo-hoo. I don't know, the little old man said aggrievedly. Grandpa Du, it said it forgave you, Leng Ruoxue translated for the pill. Alas. She didn't know how she knew the meaning of a pill, but she knew. Ah. Lass, does it understand what we mean? The little old man's face was full of surprise. This was really strange every year, especially this year. I'll understand. It also said that it doesn't want to be eaten, Leng Ruoxue said with a slight headache. She couldn't help muttering to herself as she looked at the pill in her hand that kept acting coquettishly. Could this still be considered a pill? Then what should we do? We still have to use it to submit the mission, the little old man said awkwardly. However, he was hit by the divine pill again as soon as he finished speaking. Ah. It hit me again, the little old man said gloomily with a long face. Grandpa Du, I'm refining an intermediate divine pill. Leng Ruoxue said. Qing Ju had also reminded her not to use this pill to complete the mission. Okay, then refine another one, the little old man hurriedly said, not wanting to be beaten again. The dark blue pill circled around them happily and then obediently stayed in Leng Ruoxue's hand after hearing what they said. Leng Ruoxue sent the pill into the bracelet and handed it to Qing Ju for safekeeping. Then she continued to concoct the pill resignedly. However, Leng Ruoxue's pills became more and more convenient since she refined this advanced divine pill. She only refined it more than 10 times, but the success rate of the intermediate divine pill actually reached 50%. Moreover, another advanced divine pill appeared, but the pill tribulation did not descend again. Lass, your success rate is really strange. The little old man, who had been watching by the side, said speechlessly. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Yes. Seems like that pill is indeed different. I didn't succeed in refining an intermediate divine pill once before it, but the success rate later became so high. Leng Ruoxue looked at the intermediate pill in the furnace and was also surprised. Well. This success rate was really abnormal. It was only more than a dozen times, but the success rate was actually above 50%. Who knew how many alchemists would want to die if news of this got out? Hee, no matter what, we can finally leave this place, the little old man said happily. His disciple had yet to refine an intermediate divine pill, but the success rate of an elementary divine pill had improved a lot. Well, he was very satisfied. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. She didn't expect to stay here for almost a year. Chapter 764 Advanced Antidote Pill, 5, Lass, I'm going to see that silly disciple. Pack up your things and then leave. The little old man said. Then he ran to his disciple's side to watch. Leng Ruoxue packed up and came to Zheng En's side with the freak. Zheng En's furnace of pills had already reached the last step, so the four of them waited very patiently. After the medicinal fragrance drifted out of the furnace, Zheng En directly opened the pill furnace, TS intermediate. Hee, foolish disciple, you also succeeded, the little old man said happily as he looked at the blue pill in the furnace. Hee, I succeeded. Zheng En smiled foolishly, a little at a loss. Congratulations. Leng Ruoxue said happily. Hee, thank you, Mississippi. I didn't expect me to be able to refine a divine level pill too, Zheng En said with a face full of gratitude. Silly boy, don't be too beautiful. Hurry up and pack up. We're going out, the little old man urged with a smile. Hee, his disciple had refined an intermediate divine pill. He was also proud as his master. Yes. Zheng En carefully put away the intermediate antidote pill he refined and then began to pack his things neatly. Miss, I'm done, Zheng En said after cleaning up. Okay. Leng Ruoxua nodded, then sent Zheng En back to the space and moved Empty and Feng Wu out. Shuer, how are we going to get out? Empty looked around and said helplessly. Leng Ruoxua looked at Empty, then picked up the jade slip on the table, crushed it, and said, let's just wait. Ah. Is that so? Empty couldn't help rolling his eyes. He thought to himself, who did they learn this move from? A few minutes later, a door opened on a wall in the secret room. Leng Ruoxua and the others walked out seeing this. After Leng Ruoxua and the others walked out of the secret room, they found themselves outside the door of a hall. Xiao Fan appeared in front of them as the door slowly opened. Hee, you came out so quickly. Please come in. Big brother is waiting for you. Xiao Fan said warmly. Brat, we've been in there for almost a year. How is it fast? The little old man said speechlessly. It's indeed very fast. It's too normal to stay inside for 10 or 100 years. Xiao Fan smiled. In fact, he had something else to say, that only you would succeed. Ah. The little old man was speechless. It seemed like they were really fast. However, if he was trapped inside himself, he probably wouldn't be able to come out for 100 years. Follow me. Xiao Fan led the way after speaking, and Leng Ruoxua and the others followed him into the hall. In the hall, Hong Ying and the others were sitting in chairs waiting for Leng Ruoxua and the others. The three of them stood up and bowed slightly when they saw them arrive. Congratulations, Miss Leng and the others for completing our mission, Hong Ying said, hiding his excitement. Ah. How did you know that we completed the mission? Leng Ruoxua asked curiously. Well. She had asked Qing Ju before. The secret room was very safe and was not monitored. We saw the pill tribulation, Hong Ying said honestly. When they noticed the heavenly tribulation, they knew that the antidote pills above the intermediate level had been successfully refined. Oh, Leng Ruoxua answered lightly, but the doubts in her heart became deeper and deeper. Who were they? How did they know about the alchemy tribulation? One had to know that even alchemists might not know so much about the alchemy tribulation, and she was very sure that there were no alchemists among them. Miss Leng, you don't have to think too much. We don't have any ill intentions. However, it's not convenient to reveal our identities. You will know if you have the chance in the future, Hong Ying explained calmly after seeing Leng Ruoxua's doubts. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Oh. Leng Ruoxua naturally wouldn't force him since he didn't want to say it. However, there were some questions she wanted to ask clearly. Thinking of this, she couldn't help asking, if there are no alchemists among us, I want to know how to complete the third mission. You can't complete the third mission without an alchemist. However, don't you have one among you? Hong Ying said calmly. What if we don't? Leng Ruoxua asked through gritted teeth. Then we can only stay inside forever. Moreover, the chance of death is very high, Hong Ying said very coldly. Miss Leng, our missions are all voluntary. Moreover, I've known about your information since you decided to take on the mission. Moreover, if I don't think someone can complete our mission, we will usually warn him. If he doesn't listen and insists on courting death, then we can't do anything. Xiao Fan shrugged helplessly. Why didn't you tell the person on the third mission what the third mission was before you did the mission? This was the most infuriating thing about Leng Ruoxua. In her opinion, these people were doing it on purpose. Because if others knew the content of the third mission, no one would definitely take this mission, not even her. After all, she didn't want to be trapped in the secret room forever. You are not qualified to know the third mission if you don't complete the first two missions, Hong Ying said coldly. Is that so? Isn't it because you're afraid that no one will be willing to accept this mission? Empty said with a light smile. The missions we set, even the easiest, are not something ordinary mystics can complete, so not many people chose to do the missions. For so many years, only 10 groups of people chose the missions, including you. 3 of them entered the 3rd mission, and there were alchemists in all 3 groups. However, only you succeeded, Honging explained lightly. And you have the shortest time, Flood Eagle added. We used almost a year. Leng Ruoxue reminded through gritted teeth. A year is not long for cultivators, Honging said with a faint smile. I have other things to do, Leng Ruoxue continued. I know. You're going to the Dragon Clan. By the way, the dragon race is also looking for you all over the world. It's said that the 5th elder of the dragon race is dead, Honging gloated. Chapter 765, Old Friends Meet, 1. Oh, that's good, Leng Ruoxue said calmly. Miss Leng, hand the pill to me and you can leave, Honging said very understandingly. Okay. Leng Ruoxue thought for a while, then took out the white jade bottle containing the advanced antidote divine pill and handed it to Honging. In fact, she originally wanted to take the intermediate one, but she didn't expect him to actually know pill tribulation, so she couldn't use the intermediate one to report. After all the herbs were provided by him. It's actually an advanced antidote divine pill. Honging opened the jade bottle and after seeing the divine pill inside, his handsome face couldn't help revealing a trace of surprise. Surprised. It was really too unexpected. He never dreamed that it was actually an advanced divine pill. It seemed like this world was really full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. His gaze at Leng Ruoxue and the others became even deeper when he saw this divine pill. Yes, it was purely an accident, Leng Ruoxue said very modestly. Miss Leng, I'm very satisfied with this mission item. This is your reward. Honging handed her a storage ring after speaking. Leng Ruoxue took the ring and sent her divine sense in. It was fine if she didn't see it, but what she saw scared her because there were many crystals of various facets neatly placed in addition to countless herbs and refining materials in the ring. There were so many that she was speechless. Miss Leng, are you satisfied with our remuneration? Honging asked with a light smile. Yes, I'm very satisfied. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Well, she didn't expect to receive remuneration after completing the mission. This was unexpected before she completed the mission. It's good that you're satisfied. Take this token. It should be useful in the future. Honging handed him a purple gold token and reminded him. Oh. Leng Ruoxue took the token doubtfully. This token was very heavy. There was a majestic tiger on the front, and 3 words City Lord token was engraved on the back. Well, she didn't know which city this was from, but she still stored the token and the ring in the bracelet. Xiao Fan, send Miss Leng and the others out. Honging ordered. Yes, Xiao Fan answered. Then he said to Leng Ruoxue and the others, Miss Leng, should we fetch your subordinates? Yes. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Leng Ruoxue's forehead. She braced herself. She didn't forget to tell Xiao Fan before she did the mission that her subordinates were in seclusion. Boo-hoo. Then let's go. I'll send you out after picking them up. Xiao Fan smiled and led the way, Leng Ruoxue and the others following closely behind. Soon, Leng Ruoxue and the others walked to the yard they had once stayed in. Outside the yard, Leng Ruoxue blocked Xiao Fan, who was about to enter, and said, Butler Xiao, please wait here for a while. Well, go in and get someone. Okay, Xiao Fan said obediently and watched Leng Ruoxue and the others enter the yard. After more than 10 minutes, Leng Ruoxue and the others walked out of the yard in a grandiose manner. Butler Xiao, let's go. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Okay. Xiao Fan nodded and then led Leng Ruoxue and the others through the secret path and out of Black Mist Cliff. On the other side of Black Mist Cliff, Xiao Fan stopped and cupped his hands at Leng Ruoxue and the others. Miss Leng, you have already left the range of Black Mist Cliff. I want see you out. Okay, thank you, Butler Xiao. Leng Ruoxue thanked him and then left with everyone. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. On the way to the Dragon Clan, the freak sat on the little peacock's back, seemingly deep in thought and not saying a word. Freak, what are you thinking? You're so immersed in your thoughts. Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. Shuer, did you notice that much of the thick fog and black mist cliff seemed to have dissipated when we left just now? The freak asked. Yes, fool, don't think about it. That black mist cliff obviously has many secrets, so let's not look for trouble. Leng Ruoxue pinched the freak's beautiful face lightly. Shuer, you're taking advantage of me again. The freak pouted slightly and pretended to be displeased. If I don't eat your tofu, whose do I eat? Leng Ruoxue teased. Yes, only mine, the freak said domineeringly and hugged Shuer tightly. Lass, don't be so mushy. Tell me quickly, what remuneration did Black Mist Cliff give us? The little old man asked curiously. Grandpa do, I thought you didn't want to know. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Who said I don't want to know? I've been enduring it for a long time. I was too embarrassed to ask at Black Mist Cliff just now, the little old man said honestly. Hee, the remuneration Black Mist Cliff gave us. There are herbs, refining materials, and many crystals, Leng Ruoxue explained simply. Really? How many are there? The little old man asked happily. Oh. A lot. There are many I don't know among them, but I've handed them all to Qing Ju to handle, Leng Ruoxue said. Lass, quickly send me into the space. I'll take a look, the little old man said impatiently. Okay. Leng Ruoxue sent the anxious little old man in with a thought. Not long after the little old man entered, Leng Ruoxue felt the little peacock stop and couldn't help asking, Little peacock, what's the matter? Miss, a dragon is blocking the way, the little peacock complained. Well, tell it that good dragons don't block the way. Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Hee. It seemed like the dragons were about to arrive. Leng Ruoxue's words had already entered the ears of the dragon, blocking their way even without the little peacock's recount. The dragon was immediately angry when it heard this. How dare you humans hide your head and show your tail? In front of you is the territory of our dragon clan, prohibiting passage. As Leng Ruoxue and the others had installed a tent on the little peacock's back, the dragon did not know who was sitting on the little peacock's back. However, it was very sure that the people inside the tent were humans. We are going to the dragon clan. Leng Ruoxue's cold voice sounded from the tent again. We dragons don't welcome humans, the dragon said without giving him any face. I'm Leng Ruoxue. Haven't you dragons been looking for me? I came knocking on your door today, Leng Ruoxue introduced herself. Chapter 766, Old Friends Meet, 2, Ah. You are Leng Ruoxue. The dragon was stunned, and then it immediately roared at the top of its lungs, Leng Ruoxue is here. Leng Ruoxue is here to cause a scene. After shouting, the dragon flew away as if its butt was on fire. Ah. Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but be at a loss for words after hearing what the dragon said. Well. Who could tell her what was going on? Ha. Seeing Leng Ruoxue's confused face, Empty laughed hysterically. He only said happily after he was done laughing, Shuer. I didn't expect your power to become stronger and stronger. Impressive. Ah. Miss, don't take it to heart. That dragon is too timid, Fengwu comforted her when she saw her master's grim face. It's just a disconnected dragon. I want care. However, the dragons should know that we're here now, right? Leng Ruoxue asked uncertainly. They definitely know. They might be preparing to deal with us, the freak said with a smile. Oh, Fengwu, are the dragons of this world smart? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. Not very smart. Master, don't worry. Those old farts from the dragon clan are sleeping too. Fengwu said with certainty. She didn't have a deep relationship with the Dragon Clan, but she knew that the Dragon Clan was in a similar situation as the Phoenix race. "Miss, the dragons are here." At this moment, the little peacock's voice floated into their ears. "Okay." Len Ruoshua walked out of the tent and first saw nearly 100 dragons flying in the air opposite them. Each dragon was like a small mountain. Not only that, its huge dragon eyes burned with raging anger, and its huge nostrils kept spurting out coarse air. "Is this considered a welcome?" Len Ruoshua stood on the little peacock's back and said with a smile. "Welcome my ass." "Len Ruoshua, quickly hand over our clansmen," a golden dragon roared furiously. "Aren't your clansmen all here? What do you want from me?" Len Ruoshua pretended to be stupid. "Len Ruoshua, I know that our clansmen are all in your hands. As long as you return our clansmen obediently, our dragon clan will not take revenge for you killing the fifth elder," the golden dragon said as if it was showing mercy. "Who are you? Can you decide what to do with the dragon clan?" Len Ruoshua asked in puzzlement. "I'm the first elder of the dragon clan." "Don't worry, our dragon clan will definitely carry out whatever I agree to," the first elder of the dragon clan promised. "But I don't believe you. Moreover, you said I killed your fifth elder." "Ah. Do you have evidence? If not, I'll sue you for framing me," Len Ruoshua said with a spurious smile. "You. How dare you say that you didn't kill our fifth elder of the dragon clan?" the first elder of the dragon clan questioned with a trembling body. "Boo-hoo. Humans were indeed cunning and devious. Wasn't this obvious? They actually dared to renege on the debt. It was too much." "No, I didn't kill it," Len Ruoshua said with certainty. "Well, she didn't kill it. It was eaten by her family's food." "Then who killed him?" The dragon clan's first elder's huge dragon body trembled even more violently. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. "I don't know," Len Ruoshua said irresponsibly. Her beautiful eyes quietly looked at the territory of the dragon clan. Well, the place where the dragon clan lived was far inferior to the Phoenix clan. The Phoenix clan might live on trees, but the trees were arranged in melon brilliance. As for these dragons, they lived in the rock walls. Some didn't even have a door. They just opened a cave directly on the rock wall as their residence. Alas. They were really good at dealing with it. Len Ruoshua, focus. The first elder of the dragon clan was so angry that he didn't know what to say. He was even angrier when he unintentionally saw Len Ruoshua not paying attention to him at all. "First elder, just say whatever you want to say." "I'm listening," Len Ruoshua said speechlessly, but she couldn't help but grumble in her heart. This old dragon was too nosy. So what if she liked to multitask? "Len Ruoshua, the fifth elder of our dragon clan died after looking for you. Who else could it be if not you?" The first elder of the dragon clan calmed down a little and then questioned calmly. "Is first elder sure that fifth elder didn't look for anyone else?" Len Ruoshua asked instead of answering. Hee, this old dragon was not too stupid. At least he knew to hold on to her tightly. "No. First elder was very sure." "You've always been together?" Len Ruoshua asked doubtfully. "Ah. What do you mean?" the first elder of the dragon clan asked cautiously with a face full of vigilance. "How can you be sure that I'm the last person it saw before we were together?" Len Ruoshua asked. "Len Ruoshua, don't think of going back on your word. It will definitely not let you go since you killed Feng Yun. However, you are still alive and well while the fifth elder is dead," the dragon clan's first elder analyzed. "Well. That makes sense." Len Ruoshua nodded in agreement. "Humph. You can't deny it," the dragon clan's first elder said fiercely. "All right. Since you're sticking to me, I want to ask, what do you want?" Len Ruoshua said nonchalantly. Well. It was time to return to the topic after teasing her enough. Didn't I say it before? We won't pursue the matter of you killing the fifth elder as long as you let the other dragons go, the dragon clan's first elder said very generously. Why? Isn't the dragon clan known to be the most united? I killed the fifth elder, but you actually let it go just like that? Leng Ruoxue said in disbelief. Well, she didn't want the dragon clan to let her go just like that. There was too little sense of accomplishment this way. Ah. The fifth elder deserves it. It doesn't matter if they die, but the other clansmen are innocent, so forget about this matter as long as you're willing to let them go, the first elder of the dragon clan said gloomily. Boo-hoo. In fact, it didn't want to be so cowardly, but the situation was pressing. The Phoenix clan was wiped out by them, and they didn't even leave a tree behind, so their dragon clan was also afraid. It was fine before they didn't know this human strength, but now that they knew, they naturally wouldn't risk the lives of all their clansmen. Chapter 767, Old Friends Meet, 3, But I heard that you looked for me all over the world to seek revenge for the fifth elder, right? Leng Ruoxue was a little speechless. She didn't expect these dragons to change their minds. This was a little different from what she had expected, so she was very dissatisfied. Ah. That was all a misunderstanding. We looked for you to let you back into the clan. First Elder Long Xiao said with a smile. First Elder, do you think him a 3-year-old child? You came to me previously to avenge the fifth elder. As for why you changed your mind, well. If I'm not mistaken, it should be related to the Phoenix clan. Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. The dragons were probably afraid because they knew that the Phoenix clan had disappeared. Of course not. You really misunderstood, First Elder said stubbornly. First Elder, no matter why you're looking for me, I can tell you very clearly now that your fifth elder was eaten by my beasts, and the subordinates it brought are now my captives. However, I won't return them to you, Leng Ruoxue said very clearly. Leng Ruoxue, our dragon clan won't pursue the matter of you killing the fifth elder, but you actually don't know what's good for you, You will regret being enemies with the dragon clan. The first elder of the dragon clan roared in anger. Alas! This human really didn't give them face. It originally thought that this human would be moved to tears after hearing its conditions. Who knew that he didn't appreciate it at all? Thinking of this, the first elder was really angry. Is that so? I really want to know how I will regret it. First elder, I'll give you some time. Go and gather the dragons of the dragon clan. Otherwise, the little dragons beside you won't be enough for my subordinates to practice. Leng Ruoxue reminded kindly. You are really ridiculous. Go, let this human know the power of our dragon clan. The first elder of the dragon clan was completely enraged. None of the dragons beside him moved with his order. First elder, looks like you don't have much prestige in the clan. Look at these dragons, they don't listen to your orders at all, Leng Ruoxue said with a face full of pity after a while. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and attack me to compensate this human with some power, the dragon clan's first elder roared with anger. However, he was still unwilling to be the first dragon drop. First elder, let's go back and call for more clansmen, a red dragon whispered. Boo-hoo. It wasn't that they didn't want to attack. This human really gave them too much pressure. Ah. Then go back and call them. First elder sighed and said helplessly. Yes, the red dragon answered. It turned and was about to fly away when Leng Ruoxue's voice sounded in its ears. It's best if you call your old ancestor up too, Leng Ruoxue reminded with a smile. Well. Come out. She could clean up together to avoid wasting time. The huge red dragon couldn't help but tremble when it heard Leng Ruoxue's words. Then it quickly flew away with a whoosh. There's no need for our old ancestor to take care of you humans, the dragon clan's first elder roared while pretending to be calm. Is that so? Leng Ruoxue smiled and then moved the old phoenixes out of the bracelet with a thought. After the old phoenixes emerged, they were all stunned because their current image was really too inelegant. Some were drooling, combed their hair, and had fruit in their mouths. However, they quickly returned to noble phoenixes after seeing Leng Ruoxue and the others. Lass! Why didn't you say anything when you got us out? Feng Zhan complained with a depressed face. Boo-hoo! The good image it had worked so hard to maintain was all destroyed. Fortunately, not many phoenixes saw it. Otherwise, how could it train those juniors in the future? It was just a spur-of-the-moment idea. Leng Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. Oh, then where is this place? Why do I smell a strange smell? Feng Zhan sniffed hard. Well, the smell was indeed wrong. We're here in the Dragon Clan, Leng Ruoxue replied. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Dragon Clan? Why are they coming to the Dragon Clan? No wonder the smell is so stinky, Feng Zhan said very disdainfully. The dragons want to avenge their fifth elder, so I consciously came knocking on their door, Leng Ruoxue explained with a smile. No, we don't want to avenge the fifth elder. The first elder of the Dragon Clan opposite was covered in cold sweat after coming out of the old phoenixes. Now that he heard Leng Ruoxue framed them, he gathered his courage to defend the Dragon Clan. Boo-hoo! Where did this human come from? Why were these old phoenixes with her? They originally thought that Leng Ruoxue only dealt with the little phoenix of the Phoenix clan. How could they expect that she didn't let go of those who had been sleeping? After seeing these old phoenixes, it couldn't help but feel a little regretful. Why did they provoke this human for no reason? The strength of the two races, which were originally on par, was no longer on par because of the unexpected appearance of these old phoenixes. Boo-hoo! Humph! Do you think I will believe you? Feng Zhan raised his eyes slightly and said lightly. Boo-hoo! I don't dare to lie in front of you, old man, the Dragon Clan's first elder said aggrievedly like a little wife. These old phoenixes were protecting their cubs one by one. It couldn't afford to offend them. You're the old man. I'm still very young. Feng Zhan roared with displeasure. Ha! First elder, I can give you some time to wake your old ancestor up now, Leng Ruoxue said very kindly. Okay, go and wake those old things up. I don't want to bully the young. Feng Zhan nodded and echoed. But, the first elder of the Dragon Clan was a little hesitant. He would have sent someone to call for the old ancestors if they could be awakened easily. But what? Hurry up and call for it. An old phoenix with a fiery temper couldn't help roaring when it saw the submissive appearance of the first elder of the Dragon Clan. Yes, the first elder of the Dragon Clan answered and then slipped away from the group. Lass! Find a place to set up the tent. Those old things won't wake up for at least half a month, Feng Zhan reminded. Chapter 768, 768, that long? Leng Ruoxue was depressed. Alas! Time was money. Okay. Feng Zhan nodded and then closed his eyes. After Feng De and the others heard Feng Zhan, they consciously set up the tent without Leng Ruoxue's instructions. At the same time, the first elder, who had returned to the Dragon Clan's territory, transformed into a human and came directly to the hall where the patriarch was. First elder, what's the situation outside? I've already sent people to gather the clansmen. The Dragon Clan's patriarch, who was sitting on the main seat with a depressed face, spoke first as soon as the first elder entered the hall. Alas! Didn't the first elder say to try not to fight if possible? Why did he ask the clansmen to gather again? It really couldn't understand. Patriarch, wake the old ancestors up. First elder sighed helplessly. The dragon patriarch stood up from his seat and said, What did you say? How can that be? First elder, you should know that we can't disturb the ancestors unless it's a matter of life and death. Of course I know that, but, it's already the moment of life and death for our dragon clan, so we have to shout. First elder sighed. Is it that serious? Even if Leng Ruoxue takes in the Phoenix clan, she might not necessarily be able to destroy us, right? After all, the strength of our two clans is about the same. The patriarch of the Dragon clan frowned in puzzlement. After knowing that the Phoenix clan had disappeared, he specially went to the Phoenix clan and confirmed that the Phoenix clan had not been destroyed. It was impossible for the Phoenix clan to move casually like their Dragon clan. In this way, the possibility of it recognizing a master was very high. Moreover, many members of the Dragon clan had disappeared. Therefore, they guessed that Leng Ruoxue's strength should be beat, that was before, my patriarch. The old phoenixes of the Phoenix clan have already woken up, and they are with Leng Ruoxue, the Dragon clan's first elder said with a long face. How is that possible? Even if the Phoenix clan was forced to acknowledge them as their masters, they shouldn't joke with the lives of their ancestors. Moreover, those esteemed ancestors would never recognize humans as their masters. Otherwise, they wouldn't have chosen to sleep, the Dragon patriarch said with a puzzled face. Patriarch, I didn't expect it either. But I saw Feng Zhan, the first elder of the Dragon clan said helplessly. Feng Zhan was the most famous in the Phoenix clan, so he believed that the patriarch would definitely know as long as he said this name. Are you sure? The Dragon clan's patriarch asked in disbelief. Patriarch, I won't be mistaken even if that old phoenix turns to ashes, the first elder of the Dragon clan promised. Well, he remembered that when he was young, that old phoenix came to fight with his old ancestor for no reason, so he couldn't pretend not to recognize it. First elder, then you mean, the Dragon clan's patriarch only spoke halfway before his golden eyes stared at the first elder. Patriarch, if we don't invite the old ancestor out, 11M afraid our Dragon clan will disappear from this continent. Alas! We really shouldn't have provoked that human. The first elder of the Dragon clan was regretful. In fact, dying a dragon was really nothing. The missing clansmen did not die, but most importantly, they underestimated Leng Ruoxue's strength. This was what made him the most regretful. At first, they wanted to settle the score with Leng Ruoxue when they knew that the fifth elder went to seek revenge on humans but instead killed himself instead of taking revenge. After all, none of the clansmen who went to seek revenge with the fifth elder returned except for the fifth elder. However, they were wary of Leng Ruoxue's strength at that time. Later on, they guessed that the Phoenix clan might recognize her as their master, so they changed their strategy. However, they didn't expect her to not appreciate it at all. Now, she kindly reminded them to wake the old ancestor up. Boo-hoo! With those old phoenixes, they had no choice but to ask the old ancestor to do it. First elder, are you sure you have to invite him? The Dragon patriarch was still a little hesitant. After all, this was a big matter. Patriarch, I don't want to wake the old ancestor either, but this was Feng Zhan's idea, the Dragon clan's first elder said helplessly. Alas! Then let's wake the ancestors up. The patriarch of the Dragon clan sighed and cursed the fifth elder, who was long dead in their hearts. Patriarch, let's go to the forbidden area together. First elder urged. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Let's go. The Dragon clan's patriarch nodded, and then the two of them walked in the direction of the Dragon clan's forbidden ground. 10 days later. Leng Ruoxue lay on the hanging bed and looked at the dragon staring at them cautiously. She was amused. Alas! These dragons were really acting as if they were facing a formidable enemy now. Speaking of which, were they that terrifying? They were actually guarding against them like they were thieves. Miss, the meat is grilled. At this moment, Feng De took a piece of fragrant grilled meat and handed it to Leng Ruoxue. Thank you. Leng Ruoxue divided the meat into 3, gave one to the freak, and gave one to Huor, who was coiled around her wrist. Then she held the only piece of grilled meat in her hand and said to the black dragon opposite her, You must be hungry. You have to guard the night for us every day. It's quite tiring. Do you want to eat one? I don't want to eat it. The black dragon swallowed its saliva and said with great determination. Boo-hoo. It would definitely not bow its head like food, even though it was very hungry. It wanted to be a dragon with backbone. Lass, give it to me if it doesn't want to eat. Feng Zhan said as he emerged from the tent and snatched the only piece of grilled meat from Leng Ruoxue. You're all baddies, the black dragon said fiercely with tears in its huge dragon eyes. Then it turned its back incomparably sadly. Boo-hoo. Out of sight, out of mind, out of sight. It couldn't see anything. It kept muttering in its heart, but the fragrance of the grilled meat drifted into its nose along with the little wind, making it unable to deceive itself even if it wanted to. Lass, you're really bad, Feng Zhan said with a smile. For more than 10 days, this girl had been teasing those little dragons when she had nothing to do. Now, those little dragons ran away as if they had seen a ghost when they saw them. The number of dragons monitoring them outside the dragon clan's territory decreased from nearly 100 to 1. Alas! They were becoming less and less valued by the dragon clan. How sad! Chapter 769 Old Friends Meet, 5, You were wronged. How kind of me. I didn't take advantage of the dragon's danger. Otherwise, these little dragons would have belonged to me long ago, Leng Ruoxue said aggrievedly. TCH, that's because you're afraid of trouble and want to capture them all in one fell swoop, Feng Zhan said understandingly. He had long understood her thoughts after interacting with this girl for a while. However, he also wanted to meet his old friend, so he did his best to cooperate. Hee hee. Why aren't those old dragons awake yet? Leng Ruoxue changed the topic. It should be soon, Feng Zhan said. Lass, what do you intend to do with those dragons? Feng Zhan asked again. I don't know. I'll take it first. However, they have to pay for their living expenses, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Living expenses? Feng Zhan was stunned. As far as he knew, this girl shouldn't be short of money anymore. Yes, there are too many beasts. I can't support them. Leng Ruoxue said bitterly. Lass, you have a lot of money, Feng Zhan said speechlessly. The wealth accumulated by the Phoenix clan alone was enough for her to use for a long time. Who would complain about having too much money? Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Lass, just sell a few pills and you will be rich. Really, believe me, Feng Zhan said with certainty. No, we have to keep the pills for the beasts to eat. Leng Ruoxue objected. Ah. Feng Zhan was speechless. He really didn't know what this girl was thinking. She gave the easiest profitable pills to beasts to eat, then robbed everywhere. She even got a certain beast to pay for her living expenses. Just as Leng Ruoxue and Feng Zhan were chatting, a strange movement suddenly came. Immediately after, dozens of incomparably huge dragons flew out of the dragon race's territory. These dragons were giants compared to the previous dragons. Feng Zhan floated excitedly in the air after seeing the dragons appear and transformed into his huge body to confront the dragons. Leng Ruoxue quickly moved the old phoenixes out of the bracelet. What happened? An old phoenix asked with a face full of confusion. However, it immediately felt the familiar aura of the dragon race. The gazes of the old phoenixes collided, and then they flew into the air and instantly transformed into their largest original form. Leng Ruoxue looked at the dozens of dragons and phoenixes in the sky and couldn't help being a little speechless. Alas! Why did nothing change so much? It blocked the sunlight. Now, the entire sky was already full of red and gold. Oxu was, Master, let's pack up and leave this place. Feng Wu ran to Leng Ruoxue in a hurry. Why did you leave? Leng Ruoxue was puzzled. It's too dangerous here. These old dragons have always fought with our old ancestor, so we better stay away lest we get implicated, Feng Wu said understandingly. Oh. Then get everyone to pack up. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Yes. Feng Wu nodded. Then, she quickly packed up with Feng De and the others, and the little peacock carried Leng Ruoxue and the others out of the range that might be affected. Just as Feng Wu said, as soon as Leng Ruoxue and the others left the battle circle, the old dragons and the old phoenixes, who had been staring at each other, began to attack without a word. Immediately, the sky was dyed golden red, and the dazzling golden color intertwined with the burning flames. Dragon breath and southern spirit flew everywhere, and the water in the air was quickly evaporated. Huge dragon scales and phoenix feathers fell from the sky non-stop. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Ah. Feng Wu, why didn't I know that your Phoenix clan has such a deep enmity with the dragon race? Leng Ruoxue looked at the fierce battle on the battlefield between the old dragon and the old phoenix with a puzzled face. Master, they were just joking. Feng Wu was at a loss for words. Play around? Are you sure? Leng Ruoxue asked doubtfully. Probably. That's how they fought when I was young, but it seems to be more intense this time, Feng Wu said weakly. Oh, how long do they have to fight? Do we have to decide the winner? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. There's no need. They're evenly matched, Feng Wu explained. Not necessarily. Feng Wu, do they have a rule that forbids others from attacking? Leng Ruoxue asked with a naughty smile. Ah. I don't think so. Feng Wu said after some thought, but she was a little nervous. What did Master want? That's good. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Then she turned to Feng De and the others and said, do you want to go up and practice? Yes, but miss, it's too hot there. We won't be able to last long, Feng De said awkwardly. It's okay. I'll get Charm to cast a freezing spell on you, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile and then moved Charm out of the bracelet. Okay. Feng De and the others nodded. Master, leave it to me. Charm lay in Leng Ruoxue's arms and said with a light smile. Then it gently waved its little claws, and dozens of elementary mystic techniques were thrown at Feng De and the others. Soon, a layer of ice formed on Feng De and the others. Then Feng De and the others summoned their beasts and rushed into the battle between the old dragon and the old phoenix. Schwer, let's join in the fun too, the freak said, his hands itchy. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded and then flew into the battle circle with the little peacock. The old dragons were stunned when they saw the humans and beasts who suddenly appeared in the battle. Then they glared at the old phoenix, whose face was full of innocence, and roared furiously, Feng Zhan, what do you mean? This isn't my fault. I'm innocent, Feng Zhan said with a wronged face. However, he couldn't help but be secretly happy in his heart. Hee, these old things juniors all cowered and didn't dare to stand out. Then who does it have to do with them? Aren't you together? The largest golden dragon roared with its huge dragon eyes. We're together, but they're not under my jurisdiction. Feng Zhan flapped his huge wings and said helplessly. Chapter 770 Old Friends Meet, 6, Then who will take care of them? The old dragon roared. My master. They are all my master's subordinates, Feng Zhan explained. Master? You really acknowledged him as your master? The golden old dragon glared at Feng Zhan resentfully, its huge dragon face full of disappointment, entanglement, depression, and other emotions. Boo-hoo. It didn't expect this old thing to really acknowledge him as its master. When it just woke up, it heard its junior say that this old thing might have recognized him as its master, and it even swore that it was impossible. However, now that it heard this old friend saying it himself, it couldn't not believe it even if it wanted to. Boo-hoo. Really? Long Yu, didn't I just acknowledge a master? What kind of look is that? Feng Zhan said helplessly. Even though the dragon and phoenix races had their own pride, he felt that Leng Ruoxue, that little girl, was worthy of them recognizing her as their master. After all, that girl's future was limitless. It was also their honor to follow such a master. Why did they sleep back then if they chose to recognize humans as their masters? Long Yu widened his dragon eyes and roared furiously. If they didn't sleep, they would have returned to their hometown long ago and wouldn't have stayed here. That's different. Feng Zhan said softly. A large part of the reason why it was willing to recognize Leng Ruoxue as its master was because of Feng Zhan. Well, Little Master's master was definitely not wrong. What's the difference? Aren't they all humans? Long Yu said angrily. My master isn't an ordinary human. There's candy to eat if you follow my master. Why don't you consider it too? Feng Zhan said seductively with a smile. I don't want to acknowledge a human as my master, Long Yu said stubbornly. But many dragons of your dragon race are in the hands of my master. Moreover, they might not be willing to return to the clan. Feng Zhan said with a naughty smile. During this period of time, those dragons had been staying in the space so happily that they were a little forgetful. They would definitely not be willing to return to the dragon race. What do you mean? Long Ye's face was full of question marks. Idle, literally. My master didn't take them in as his underlings, but they insisted on following my master shamelessly, saying that they would rather die than return to the dragon race, Feng Zhan provoked. That's impossible. I don't believe it. Call them out. I want to confront them. Long Yu might be angry, but his rationality was still intact. Therefore, he would definitely not be fooled. After all, he knew Feng Zhan very well and knew that this old fellow loved to play mind games and sow discord. I can't decide this. You have to ask my master, Feng Zhan said very irresponsibly. Who is your master? Long Yu roared. It's me, Leng Ruoxue said. Alas. It seemed like she couldn't continue pretending. Hurry up and let us dragons out. I want to ask them myself. Long Ye's nostrils flared as he said angrily. His widened dragon eyes wanted to see through Leng Ruoxue. Well. In his eyes, he didn't find anything special about this human woman other than her beauty for the time being. No. Leng Ruoxue refused directly without thinking, why? Long Yu asked in disbelief. However, he couldn't understand why a mere human mystic sovereign wouldn't be afraid of his dragon might. This shouldn't be the case. You are their old ancestor. They will definitely be afraid if they come out and see you. They might even say something against their conscience. Therefore, I can't let them out, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. I want. You have to believe me. Long Yu panted heavily. No. Leng Ruoxue shook her head with a smile. Long Yu was so angry that he was speechless. He could only glare at Leng Ruoxue with his huge dragon eyes without blinking. Old Long, my man will be jealous if you look at me with such affection. Leng Ruoxue reminded with a smile. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Affectionate? Who's looking at you affectionately? Don't wrong me. Women are big trouble. Long Ye's fat dragon body couldn't help trembling when he heard Leng Ruoxue's words, and his face was full of fear. Old Long, you're biased against women. Leng Ruoxue said with slight dissatisfaction. That's the truth. Long Yu said nonchalantly. Nas, fact. Old Long, do you still want to see your dragon junior? Leng Ruoxue was not interested in discussing women with a dragon, so she took the initiative again. Of course I do. I thought you refused. Long Ye's dragon face revealed grievance. Yes, I won't let you meet your clansmen. However, I can let you meet outsiders, Leng Ruoxue said with a mysterious smile. Outsiders? What do you mean? Long Yu asked in puzzlement. Grandpa, big brother. Leng Ruoxue gave them a look. They immediately understood and summoned Long Hao and the First Elder at the same time. Master, why are you looking for us? Long Hao looked at the First Elder with sleepy eyes and asked in puzzlement. A dragon wants to see you. Leng Ruhan shrugged innocently. Well, this was not his idea. Who is it? I'm very busy. Long Hao's face was full of displeasure. It was cultivating. It didn't have time to receive other dragons. It's me. Long Ye's eyes widened, and he used his nose to sniff Long Hao's body with all his might. Oh! What a thick imperial bloodline aura. Which branch of the imperial family was this little fellow from? He was so curious. Oh! Long Hao answered lightly. It was not very interested in the dragons on the boundless heaven continent, so it naturally would not be too enthusiastic. Little guy, whose family are you from? Long Yu asked anxiously. I don't know, Long Hao replied without much interest. Ah. How can I not know? Long Yu said in disbelief. I don't know, I just don't know. I've never seen my parents. How would I know whose family I'm from? Long Hao looked at the old dragon in front of him like he was an idiot and said lightly. Ah. Long Yu was depressed, but then he turned his gaze to the other dragon and asked, You should know who that little fellow's parents are, right? I don't know. The first elder's answer was the same as Long Hao's. Chapter 771 Proud Cold City, 1, How can you not know? Long Yu roared. This golden dragon was of the same race as him, so it was not stressed when it roared. I was still young at that time. I picked up the emperor in the clan, so I don't know who its parents were, the first elder said very honestly with an innocent face. Oh. Is that so? That's no wonder. Long Yu sighed softly. Then he looked at Long Hao with slight heartache in his eyes. Alas. Poor child, it actually didn't even know who its parents were. However, it was okay. He would definitely take good care of it in the future. Master, I want to go back, Long Hao said to Leng Ruhan fearfully. The old dragon's gaze made its hair stand on end. It now regarded the old dragon with ambiguous eyes as a strange uncle. Okay. Leng Ruhan nodded helplessly and then stored his frightened beast back into the beast pet space. I've decided. Long Yu looked at the disappearing Long Hao and said loudly. Ah. What have you decided? Feng Zhan asked in puzzlement. Well. The dragons were a little out of line, acting as they pleased. I've decided to acknowledge him as my master. Long Yu pointed his huge paw at Leng Ruhan. Old man, you just said that you won't recognize humans as your masters. Feng Zhan said mockingly. Times change. That was just now. I want to acknowledge you as my master now, Long Yu said nonchalantly. Well. He had to take good care of the future emperor of the dragon race. Big brother, are you sure? The other dragons beside Long Yu couldn't help asking softly. Of course I'm sure. Do you think it's easy for the dragon race to produce a purple gold dragon emperor? Long Yu said excitedly. Alright, well listen to Big Brother, the dragons said. Old Long, you can recognize my brother as your master, but if the other dragons want to recognize you as their master, they can only look for others, Leng Ruoxue reminded. Well. Her brother couldn't take in so many dragons at once. Yes, it's their own business which master they want to recognize. I won't interfere, Long Yu said very openly. He directly recognized the master and signed a soul contract after speaking. The other old dragons each found a pleasing master and signed a contract seeing that Long Yu had already acknowledged them as his masters. However, what puzzled Leng Ruoxue was that not a single old dragon wanted to acknowledge her as their master. Ah. What was going on? She couldn't understand. Say, why don't any of you old farts recognize my master? Feng Zhan asked Leng Ruoxue's question. TCH, we don't want to be your master, the dragons said in unison. That's good. I don't want to be the same master as you stupid dragons either, Feng Zhan retaliated nonchalantly. Damn old phoenix, who did you say is a stupid dragon? Long Ye's temper rose again. Both sides glared at each other, about to start fighting again at any moment. Fight quickly. We can leave this place after fighting, Leng Ruoxue urged. Well, they couldn't intervene since both sides were considered their beasts. With this in mind, she left the battle circle with her subordinates. Ah. Lass, we won't fight anymore, Feng Zhan said hurriedly. Then he secretly glared at Long Yu. Damn old thing, its claws were really heavy just now. It had lost a lot of feathers. It would definitely become a bald bird if it continued fighting. Yes. We won't fight anymore, Long Yu said hurriedly. The dragon's scales on its body were still in pain. Both sides would really suffer if they continued fighting. Are you sure? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows slightly and asked lightly. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Yes, yes. The old dragons and the old phoenix nodded in unison. Alright. Hurry up and pack your things since we're not fighting anymore. Well, leave this place later, Leng Ruoxue reminded. Yes, Long Yu and the other dragons said. They had long seen that their masters followed this girl's lead, so her words were more effective than their masters. The dragons nodded slightly at their masters and then flew back to the dragon race's territory. Feng Zhan and the other old phoenixes also returned to their transmogrification form. Alas! The old phoenixes sighed as they looked at the feathers that fell to the ground. Leng Ruoxue looked at the resentful old phoenixes with some amusement. She took out a bottle of pills from the bracelet and threw it to Feng Zhan. After Feng Zhan took the pills, he hurriedly opened the bottle stopper and ate one. Then he distributed one pill to the other phoenixes each. The remaining pills in the bottle were privately taken by it. Hee, this pill was good stuff. Before long, Long Yu and the other dragons returned with their things packed, and behind them were the juniors of the dragon race. Long Yu, are they leaving with us too? Leng Ruoxue pretended to be stupid. Yes. Long Yu answered matter-of-factly. Could he leave his juniors here since his ancestors had left? He was worried. Well. They can follow me if they want, but I can't afford to raise them. They have to pay for their living expenses, Leng Ruoxue said as a difficult matter. Living expenses? How much do we have to pay? Long Yu frowned and asked. Boo-hoo. Why were humans so greedy? Their dragon race was very poor. Swear, don't make things difficult for them. They don't look like they are rich. Why don't you let them work for you? Leng Ruhan pleaded. Xue. Alright then. You can work to repay your debts for Big Brother's sake, Leng Ruoxue said very generously. Thank you, Miss Leng, the dragon patriarch and first elder said very gratefully. Fortunately, they were willing to take them in. Boo-hoo. Feng Zhan, who was watching the commotion by the side, couldn't help laughing secretly in his heart when he saw the grateful expressions of the dragons. Hee, these stupid dragons. He would probably have to count the money for them if he was sold by the girl. Leng Ruoxue glared at Feng Zhan. Then, with a thought, she stored the dragons and old phoenixes that did not recognize her in the bracelet. Where are our clansmen? Long Yu was surprised to see his juniors suddenly disappear. I put them away. I can't let them wander the streets. Leng Ruoxue said speechlessly. Chapter 772 Proud Cold City, 2, Where did you put them? Long Ye's face was full of curiosity, but he couldn't help thinking in his heart, how big must the beast pet equipment be to be able to store so many dragons? Ah. In a space, Leng Ruoxue explained simply. Oh. Master, bring us into the beast pet space too. Long Yu requested. Okay. Leng Ruhan nodded and then stored Long Yu away. Feng De and the others also stored their dragons in the beast pet space. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue pulled the freak to sit on the little peacock's back after speaking. The others hurriedly sat up, and then the little peacock flew them out of the empty dragon race territory. Suddenly stopped and stared forward with its big watery eyes in confusion. Little peacock, why did you stop? Leng Ruoxue felt the little peacock's abnormality and asked in puzzlement. Miss, we've arrived at Black Mist Cliff. However, the thick fog and the poisonous gas have all disappeared, the little peacock reported. Oh, then let's fly there directly. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Yes, the little peacock answered and then flew directly over Black Mist Cliff. 3 days later. The little peacock brought Leng Ruoxue and the others to Shadow City again. After Leng Ruoxue and the others entered the Shadow City, they went directly to the shop they had transacted last time, planning to purchase some herbs and refining materials. The waiter immediately recognized them and welcomed them warmly as soon as they entered the shop. Miss Leng, welcome. Are there any more herbs? Leng Ruoxue asked bluntly. Yes. A new batch just happened to arrive. Miss Leng, please wait for a moment. I'll go get it now, the waiter said hurriedly and then turned to leave. However, he was not going to the warehouse but the Shadow League's camp. Schwer, could it be that the little waiter went to call for help? Empty teased with a light smile. Why are we calling for thugs? We didn't do anything bad, Leng Ruoxue said innocently. She wouldn't have come here again if it weren't for the sake of purchasing herbs and equipment materials. Ha! Empty smiled and didn't say anything. Soon, the waiter returned. However, 2 people appeared beside him. One was Yu Tian, and they knew the other. Ha! Miss Leng, long time no see. How have you been? Yu Tian said with a face full of smiles. Alas! This little ancestor finally walked into the trap. Otherwise, he really didn't know when he would be able to find her traces. He didn't know where she had hidden these 2 years. He almost turned the entire boundless heaven continent upside down, but he actually couldn't find her. Very good, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Miss Leng, do you want to purchase herbs? Yu Tian tried to make conversation. Well. Leng Ruoxue's attitude was really lukewarm, making him helpless. Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Miss Leng, what's your current strength? Yu Tian asked very curiously. Didn't you see it? Great mystic. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Ah. Yu Tian was depressed. However, he couldn't force her to tell him if she didn't want to tell him. Moreover, he had to force her. Are the herbs ready? Leng Ruoxue didn't want to start a conversation, so she asked directly because she really didn't know what to talk about with Yu Tian. After all, she was not familiar with the Shadow League in her eyes. Yes. Miss Leng, please take a look. Yu Tian gave the waiter a look, and the waiter took off the ring on his hand and handed it to Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue took the ring and sent her divine sense in to look at the herbs inside. Then she said directly, Butler Yu, I want all these herbs. State a price. I also ordered someone to prepare some refining materials for Miss Leng. 100 million purple coins will do. Butler Yu said with a smile. Are you sure? Leng Ruoxue took the other storage ring from the waiter and probed it with her divine sense. Yes, we let Miss Leng down last time, so our Shadow Alliance decided to sell this deal to Miss Leng at the cost price, Yu Tian said honestly. You didn't do anything wrong to me. We're just on different sides, Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Then she continued, I don't want to take advantage of you. State a real price. She really didn't dare to take advantage of him, especially since the target was the Shadow League. Miss Leng, we are very sincere, Yu Tian explained. Butler Yu, the volume of transactions this time is about the same as last time, but the quality is better, so I'll pay 50 million more purple coins than last time. Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Alas. All right then. Yu Tian was a little helpless. However, he had no choice if they didn't appreciate their goodwill. Thinking of this, he hated those stubborn old things again. After the transaction, Leng Ruoxue was about to leave with everyone when she was stopped at the door. Leng Ruoxue, stop right there. Leng Wudi roared angrily. He didn't expect this damn little thing to pretend not to know him. It was really infuriating. What's the matter? Leng Ruoxue turned around helplessly, but she was complaining in her heart. Couldn't the mighty young master of the Leng family pretend not to know a small character like her? She really didn't want to have anything to do with the Leng family, especially after meeting the top-grade siblings last time. This thought was even stronger. Why are you pretending not to know me? Leng Wudi questioned angrily. Oh. I'm sorry. You look a little familiar, but I really don't remember who you are, Leng Ruoxue lied through her teeth. You, Leng Wudi was so angry that he couldn't say anything. However, he was 100% sure that this innocent-looking girl did it on purpose. Leng Wudi took a few deep breaths to calm his depressed mood. Then he said, someone wants to see you. Chapter 773 Proud Cold City, 3, See me? Do I know him? Leng Ruoxue blinked her beautiful watery eyes and asked curiously. Probably not. Leng Wudi said uncertainly after some thought. Oh. I won't see you then. Grandpa said not to meet strangers, Leng Ruoxue said obediently. Darling granddaughter. You wronged me again. When did I say such things? Leng Qingtian, who was innocently shot, looked at his granddaughter resentfully, feeling depressed. He's not a stranger. Leng Wudi was angry. Anyone I don't know is considered a stranger, Leng Ruoxue said matter-of-factly. Then she gave her subordinates a look and everyone left tacitly. Leng Wudi hurriedly followed. Half a month later. In an uninhabited forest. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of depression as she glared at the innocent Leng Wudi and asked helplessly, Young Master Leng, how long do you want to follow me for? She had been depressed for the past half a month because Leng Wudi would follow them wherever they went. She found it strange that she couldn't shake him off. He might not be able to keep up with Feng Wu, but he would appear by their side in a few hours. I will always follow you unless you return to the Leng family with me, Leng Wudi said fearlessly. The Leng family is powerful and influential. A small character like me is really not suitable to appear, Leng Ruoxue declined very implicitly, even though it had been countless times. You are a small character. Then wouldn't I be inferior to even dust? Leng Wudi said with self-ridicule. In the boundless heaven continent now, whoever dared to think that Leng Ruoxue was an unknown small character, he was the first to be anxious with that person. Alas! Compared to Leng Ruoxue and the others, he was probably that small character. How can that be? You are the young master of the Leng family, one of the three major families, Leng Ruoxue said very seriously. Leng Ruoxue, there are no outsiders here anyway. Why don't you kill me to silence me? Otherwise, I definitely won't give up, Leng Wudi said very resolutely. Swear, let's go since young Master Leng insists on us going back with him. Leng Qingtian couldn't take it anymore and sighed helplessly. Swear, your grandfather agreed, Leng Wudi said casually, all right. Leng Ruoxue nodded helplessly. After all, it was not good for Leng Wudi to keep pestering them like this. Let's go now. Leng Wudi said impatiently. How could he still have the composed image of a noble young master with his anxious appearance now? To be precise, his good image had long disappeared in front of Leng Ruoxue and the others. What's the rush? We just had lunch, Leng Ruoxue said speechlessly. All right then. Leng Wudi answered softly. Boo-hoo. He really didn't have any status as the young master of the Leng family in front of these people. Soon, Leng Ruoxue and the others finished their meal and reluctantly followed Leng Wudi to the main city of the Leng family, Proud Cold City. They finally arrived at their destination after flying for nearly 10 days. Standing outside the tall and grand city walls of Proud Cold City, Leng Wudi asked with a face full of pride, how is it? Our Leng family's main city is not bad, right? If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. So, Leng Ruoxue said without giving him any face. You'll know that it's extraordinary once you enter, Leng Wudi said, mentally prepared. Oh. Then let's go in quickly. I'm sleepy, Leng Ruoxue urged. Let's go in. Leng Wudi said helplessly. Alas. He had been pestering them for nearly a month and had more or less understood Leng Ruoxue's habits, so he was already used to it. Okay. Leng Ruoxue and the others nodded and then entered Proud Cold City with Leng Wudi. Proud Cold City was very prosperous. People came and went on the streets. Moreover, pedestrians greeted Leng Wudi very warmly when they saw him, and his signature smile hung on Leng Wudi's beautiful face. What a two-faced person. Leng Ruoxue looked at Leng Wudi and murmured softly. This fellow was a scoundrel in front of them, but in front of these citizens, he was so gentle, noble, and perfect. In Proud Cold City, my every move represents the Leng family. Leng Wudi smiled bitterly after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words. Boo-hoo. It was so easy to be a young master. I know. Find us a inn. Leng Ruoxue reminded. No need. I've already arranged your residence, Leng Wudi said proudly. I don't live in the Leng family, Leng Ruoxue said. Okay. Leng Wudi nodded and then brought Leng Ruoxue and the others to a yard. Leng Ruoxue looked up at the plaque outside the yard. There were 2 words engraved on it, Plum Garden. After entering the plum garden, Leng Ruoxue was surprised to find that this plum garden was indeed as its name suggested. It was planted with all sorts of plum blossoms, and the air in the yard was even suffused with the fragrance of the plum blossoms. Not only that, every building in the garden was exquisite to the point of breathtaking, absolutely worthy of being called a work of art. Are you satisfied with this place? Leng Wudi asked calmly as he looked at the expressions of Leng Ruoxue and the others. It's okay, Leng Ruoxue replied softly. For some reason, looking at the grass, wood, scenery, and things here made her feel a sense of déjà vu. Was this too strange? It's good that you're satisfied. Have a good rest today. I'll visit you tomorrow, Leng Wudi said very thoughtfully. After speaking, he was about to leave when he heard a familiar voice outside the door. His heart couldn't help skipping a beat, and a bad premonition followed. Third brother, how can you let an outsider stay in the plum garden? An angry and unruly voice sounded in Leng Ruoxue and the others' ears. However, everyone was so calm that they didn't even turn their heads, still looking at the beautiful scenery in the garden with their backs facing her. Rume, this is my business. When did I need you to tell me what to do? Leng Wudi's face turned cold and he said with some displeasure. Chapter 770 For the Grand Elder, 1, Third Brother. Did you forget that the plum garden is not for anyone to stay in? Leng Rume questioned with a face full of anger. She unintentionally saw Third Brother bringing a group of people she didn't know back to Proud Cold City on the streets today, so she followed secretly curiously. However, she didn't expect Third Brother to actually bring those people to the plum garden. Plum garden. That was the Leng family's best side yard, but it had always been uninhabited. Moreover, when she happened to break through to Great Mystic on her 20th birthday, she wanted to take the opportunity to ask the patriarch's father for it. Who knew that her father actually didn't agree to her request and even lied to her that the plum garden couldn't decide? So her father was biased and left the plum garden to her third brother. Thinking of this, she felt hatred in her heart. The plum garden had the word May, and her name had the word May. How suitable was it for her? However, she was now letting a group of outsiders stay. How could she choke down this anger? This is my business. You don't have to worry about it, Leng Wudi said impatiently. Then he dragged Leng Rume out of the plum garden. After Leng Wudi dragged Leng Rume away, Leng Qingtian looked at the scenery of the plum garden and sighed. Schwer, it seems like the Leng family isn't very peaceful either. Grandpa, it's not strange for scheming in big families. It will naturally happen when there are many wives and children. don't worry too much. We won't stay here for long, Leng Ruoxue comforted. Okay, Fengde, find your own rooms to stay in. Leng Qingtian ordered and then wandered around the plum garden alone. Leng Ruoxue, Ruhan, and the freak had been following behind him worriedly. Alas! Grandpa misses the Ling Feng continent's home again, Leng Ruhan said in realization. Ah! I remember now. Big brother, don't you think that some of the decoration methods here are similar to our home in the Ling Feng continent? Leng Ruoxue couldn't help asking. No wonder she felt that there was a sense of familiarity here. It turned out that some of the decorations in this plum garden were in the same direction as their original home. However, the decorations were different. Moreover, she clearly felt the aura of refinement from these decorations, and this yard full of blooming plum blossoms must have used special means. Otherwise, it would be impossible to bloom so luxuriously in this season. Yes, and I seem to have seen in some of the family's records that a certain ancestor of our Leng family liked plum blossoms very much. However, our home in the Ling Feng continent had been repaired several times, so the original plum tree had long disappeared, Leng Ruhan explained. Leng Qingtian had already strode to the three of them and asked loudly, Brats, why are you following me? Grandpa, we didn't follow you. We were also admiring the spring sunshine in the plum garden. Leng Ruoxue said as if nothing had happened. Yes. Grandpa, we're also admiring the scenery, Leng Ruhan's handsome and invincible face blushed as he explained softly. Oh. Leng Qingtian finally turned his gaze to the freak and looked at him indifferently without saying anything. Grandpa, I'll accompany Shuer, the freak hurriedly explained. Oh, Shuer, are you done admiring the spring sunshine of the plum garden? Leng Qingtian asked with a smile. Okay, the three of them answered softly. Do you feel anything? Leng Qingtian asked expectantly. No, the scenery is beautiful, Leng Ruoxue interrupted. What else? Gone. How can it be gone? I vaguely heard someone say that this place is a little familiar just now. Leng Qingtian was a little angry. Grandpa, I didn't say that, Leng Ruoxue quickly denied. Me neither. Leng Ruhan and the freak quickly denied it. Don't worry, I won't be affected. There is indeed a shadow of our family here, Leng Qingtian said lightly. He didn't know about his grandchildren, but he remembered them very clearly. However, he also knew that this didn't mean anything. After all, this was the Leng family's property. Grandpa, don't think too much. Let's take things as they come. With our current strength, there's absolutely no one who can force us, so let nature take its course, Leng Ruoxue comforted. In fact, she had already guessed that it was most likely someone related to the Ling Feng continent from the moment Leng Wudi said that someone wanted to see them. She might not want to see him, but she couldn't avoid Leng Wudi's pestering. However, if that person looked pleasing to the eye, there was no harm in dating him. If that person wanted to have any bad ideas, then don't blame her for being heartless. Yes, Shuer is right. Since we're here, let's take it easy. Let's go get some food and then rest early to recover so that we can deal with the Leng family. Leng Qingtian said with a face full of relief. With that, the grandfather and granddaughter came to the garden together, and Fengde and the others had already prepared food. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Everyone returned to their rooms to rest after dinner. At the Leng family's residence. The Leng family's main residence was located in the south of Proud Cold City. Moreover, the entire south belonged to the Leng family's territory. Outsiders were not allowed to step foot here unless they obtained permission. Leng Wudi dragged his half-sister back to the main mansion and went directly to the forbidden area in the back mountain. Leng Rume naturally went to complain to the patriarch's father, Leng Yimin, who loved her the most. Leng Rume heard that her father was in the meeting hall and ran directly here. However, she was stopped by the guards outside the door. I'm sorry, eldest Mississippi. The patriarch is having a meeting with the elders. You can't enter, the guard said coldly and politely. How dare you? Do you know who I am? How dare you stop me? Leng Rumai's temper rose. She had a belly full of anger at Leng Wudi just now but had nowhere to vent it. Now, she was stopped by a small guard, so the fire on her body ignited. You are not allowed to enter even if you are the most favored eldest daughter of the Leng family, the guard said coldly. How dare you? Guards, arrest him. Leng Rumei roared and ordered the other two guards. Eldest miss, please forgive us. This is our duty, the other two guards replied, neither servile nor overbearing. Chapter 775 The Grand Elder, 2, Leng Rumei was about to teach the three guards a lesson when the door of the meeting hall was suddenly opened and the Leng family's head butler walked out. Eldest miss, the patriarch invites you in. The Leng family's head butler's cold voice drifted into Leng Rumai's ears. Got it. Thank you, head butler. Humph. Wait for me. Leng Rumei thanked the head butler with a smile on her face. Then she glared fiercely at the three guards and swaggered into the conference room. In the conference room, the patriarch of the Leng family, Leng Yimin, was sitting in the main seat. Sitting beside him was a man who looked to be in his early 30s. This man might be handsome and had an extraordinary temperament, but he did not have the slightest smile on his face. Compared to him, Leng Yimin looked slightly older. He might be equally handsome, but his bearing could not be compared to that man. However, the two of them were mystic supremacies. The other elders of the Leng family sat below them. Leng Rumei saw her father staring at her with a black face after entering the meeting hall. However, it was not like she had never barged into the meeting hall before, so she was really not afraid. Anyway, her father would at most pretend to scold her, and would not do anything to her. Rumei, don't you know that I'm discussing something with the elders? You're really becoming more and more unruly, Leng Yimin questioned very sternly. However, the elders sitting there knew very well that the patriarch loved this daughter very much. This was just for them to see, and they naturally wouldn't harp on such a small matter. I'm sorry, father. I really have something important to do, so I was a little anxious, Leng Rumei said with a face full of regret. She didn't have the arrogant and domineering appearance from before at all. What's the matter? Leng Yimin asked curiously, his face looking much better. Father, third brother actually let outsiders stay in the plum garden. I wanted to stop him, but I was scolded by him, Leng Rumei said aggrievedly, tears flashing in her beautiful eyes. Really? Leng Yimin said doubtfully. Well. He knew his son very well. Wudi shouldn't be so ignorant of the severity of the matter. Thinking of this, he couldn't help sneaking a look at the man beside him. However, he was slightly relieved seeing that the man's expression was still as usual. Father, third brother gave the plum garden to outsiders without the permission of the family. I wonder if he will be punished. Leng Rumei asked curiously. Eldest miss, even though this was done by the young master, we have to ask the young master before we know what happened, so the patriarch can't answer this question of yours now, an elder said. Third elder, you can't say that. Eldest miss only asks because she cares about the family. An old man with a wrinkled face said lightly. Does the 10th elder mean that we will be convicted of the young master's crime if we listen to eldest miss one-sided words? Don't forget that the plum garden isn't under our jurisdiction. The third elder caressed his beard and said nonchalantly. Who said that the plum garden isn't under our jurisdiction? The plum garden also belongs to our Leng family. We are duty-bound to everything that belongs to the Leng family, the 10th elder said indignantly, obviously implying that the third elder didn't care about the Leng family's affairs. Then feel free to slack off. I'll make it clear first that I don't care about this matter, third elder said with a cold smile. He looked at the 10th elder as if he was watching a joke. Then he stood up, bowed to Leng Yimin, and said, Patriarch, if there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first. With that, he rolled up his sleeves and left the meeting hall. The other elders present also stood up and left one after another, obviously not wanting to get involved in this muddy water. Father, how can the elders be so irresponsible? Leng Rumei couldn't help complaining as she watched the elders of the Leng family leave. Shut up. How can a junior like you criticize the elders? Leng Yimin glared at Leng Rumei and said with displeasure. Alas. It seemed like he really spoiled this only daughter of his. She actually developed her temperament that didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Rumei, are the people brought by Woody staying in the plum garden now? The man beside Leng Yimin asked leisurely with an indescribable expression on his face. Yes, Leng Rumei answered carefully, but she was a little nervous because she was very afraid of this man. For some reason, she was just afraid. He might be younger and more handsome than any elder in the Leng family, but she knew very well that it was okay to offend the other elders. Her father would help her settle it, but she absolutely could not offend this mysterious grand elder. Oh, I really want to see what kind of person he is. The man's voice was very soft, but everyone present heard it very clearly. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Supreme Elder, Rumei is willing to lead the way, Leng Rumei volunteered. Wouldn't she be overjoyed if she could get the Supreme Elder to deal with those people? She couldn't help being a little smug thinking of this. Okay, Rumei, lead the way. The man stood up and said to everyone, you don't have to follow. After hearing this, Leng Yimin, the 10th elder, and the others, who had just stood up, had to sit down again. Leng Yimin and the remaining elders left the meeting hall after the man left with Leng Rumei. At the same time, Leng Wudi had already left the back mountain. Then he turned around to see his grandfather. His grandfather had passed the position of the patriarch to his father 2 years ago, but his grandfather's prestige in the family was still not something that his father could replace. Ever since his grandfather left the heavy responsibility of being the patriarch, he chose a relatively small side yard for cultivation. Moreover, no one dared to disturb his grandfather's cultivation except for him and a few elders who were on good terms with his grandfather. Leng Wudi arrived at the side yard. He heard his grandfather's hearty laughter as soon as he walked in. He couldn't help taking a few steps forward and came in front of his grandfather with a light smile. Grandpa, what's the matter? Ha! You're going to be unlucky. Leng Jingmu laughed happily. Ah! Grandpa, your precious grandson is going to be unlucky. Are you that happy? Leng Wudi pretended to be sad and then greeted the 3rd elder, who was sitting opposite his grandfather. Chapter 776 The Grand Elder, 3, Haha, of course I'm happy. You have no idea how bored I am staying here every day, Leng Jingmu complained, his handsome face full of bitterness. Grandpa, you were the one who said you wanted to cultivate quietly. Now you find it boring, Leng Wudi said speechlessly. Alas. He was really becoming more and more willful since Grandpa stopped being the patriarch. Cultivation is very boring. Brat, tell Grandpa why you brought your friend to live in the plum garden. That place is not open to the public. Don't tell me you don't know that even people from our Leng family are not allowed to stay there. Leng Jingmu asked doubtfully. Would he not know his grandson? This boy had been cautious since he was young, and it was impossible for him to make such a low-level mistake. Therefore, if anyone wanted to see his most beloved grandson make a fool of himself, that would really be a mistake. Grandpa, how did you know about this? Did Rumei complain? Leng Wudi guessed. He knew that Rumei would definitely complain, but he didn't expect it to happen so quickly. Okay. Leng Jingmu nodded. Young master, I saw Leng Rumei bringing the Grand Elder to the plum garden. You better think of a good excuse. Otherwise, no one can help you if the Grand Elder becomes angry, 3rd elder reminded worriedly. He saw that the Grand Elder had no reaction in the meeting hall just now and thought that the Grand Elder would ask for the reason. However, he didn't expect the old man to actually go to the plum garden personally, which couldn't help making him nervous. Oh, it's okay. The Grand Elder won't blame me, Leng Wudi said with certainty. Wudi, are you that confident? The curiosity on Leng Jingmu's face became stronger. Yes, the people I brought should be from the Leng family from the Ling Feng continent, Leng Wudi said after some thought. He didn't intend to hide this matter from his grandfather anyway. Are you sure? We've lost contact for so long. I really didn't expect there to be someone from the Leng family there, Leng Jingmu said with a face full of surprise. Patriarch, what are you talking about? Third Elder's face was full of question marks. Third Elder, I told you not to call me Patriarch anymore. Well, it's like this. The ancestor of the Leng family once left a trace of his bloodline on the Ling Feng continent. However, not many people know about this. Moreover, no one has been able to come to our place for thousands of years, so we've always thought that there were no more Leng family there, Leng Jingmu explained simply. Oh, since they are also from the Leng family, the Supreme Elder shouldn't make things difficult for them, right? Third Elder said uncertainly. No, the Grand Elder should treat them well because the Grand Elder is also from the Ling Feng continent, Leng Jingmu explained, relieved. Ah. The Grand Elder also came up from below? Third Elder said in surprise. He only knew that the Grand Elder was very mysterious and liked to be alone, but he didn't know that the Grand Elder was actually from the Ling Feng continent. Third Elder, what's there to be surprised about? In fact, all the ancestors of our Leng family came from the Ling Feng continent. However, after staying in this world for a long time, many clansmen thought that they were born and raised. In fact, to be precise, our roots are all in the Ling Feng continent, Leng Jingmu said thoughtfully. Okay. Third Elder nodded in agreement. However, he knew that the younger generation of the clan would definitely not like to hear such words. After all, in everyone's eyes, the Ling Feng continent's level was lower than the boundless heaven continent. Woody, arrange for some people to protect and take care of them since they are staying in the plum garden. Don't let them think that we are rude, Ling Qingmu ordered. Grandpa, there's no need. Let's not let anyone disturb them. Leng Wudi refused directly without thinking because he knew that Leng Ruoxue would not use it even if he sent people. Moreover, she had many subordinates, so he didn't need to do anything unnecessary. How can that do? We have to treat the Grand Elder well on account of him. Otherwise, no one can bear his anger unless we invite the old ancestors, Third Elder said hurriedly. Woody, Third Elder is right, Leng Jingmu echoed. Grandpa, I understand them. There's really no need, Leng Wudi said helplessly. Alas. All right then. You brought her back anyway, do as you deem fit. Leng Jingmu rudely became an arm-flinging shopkeeper. He was not the patriarch now. He naturally didn't have to worry about these things. Okay. Leng Wudi nodded. Then he chatted with his grandfather for a while and left the side yard. Outside the plum garden. The man stood outside the yard and looked for a long time, deep in thought. Grand Elder, shall we go in? Leng Rume couldn't help asking after waiting for a long time and seeing that the Grand Elder didn't say anything. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Yes. The man nodded. Then Leng Rume pushed open the door of the plum garden and walked in, with the man following behind her. With the support of the Grand Elder, Leng Rume walked vigorously. After entering the plum garden, she brought the Grand Elder straight to the main yard because she guessed that those people would choose to rest in the main yard. After all, the rooms there were the best in the plum garden. Unfortunately, she was wrong. Leng Ruoxue and the others didn't choose to stay in the main yard at all, so she had to bring the Grand Elder around the yard to search. Finally, she found their traces in the yard closest to the garden. Grand Elder, it's them. Leng Rume pointed at Leng Ruhan and Empty, who were drinking tea on a stone bench in the yard. The Grand Elder didn't say anything and just kept looking at the two handsome men in front of him. Ah. These two men could be described as dragons among men, and one of them actually looked a little familiar, but he couldn't remember where he had seen him before. As for the other, he could sense a trace of bloodline connection between the two of them, so he was immediately sure that this person should be his descendant. However, what puzzled him was that logically speaking, the generation between them had already emerged for 5 generations, and their bloodlines should be very rare. However, the bloodline he felt from this young man was very strong. What was going on? He was really puzzled. Chapter 777 The Grand Elder, 4. At this moment, Empty and Leng Ruhan were also observing this uninvited man. However, Empty continued to drink his tea calmly after taking a few glances. Leng Ruhan looked at Empty resentfully and said very reluctantly, "This is our residence now. If the two of you have anything, you have to at least knock on the door first. This is the most basic courtesy. This is our Leng family's territory. We can come and go as we please. I order you to move out immediately. This isn't a place where people like you can stay," Leng Rume roared in anger. A cold light flashed in Leng Ruhan's eyes. He gently glanced at Leng Rume and said lightly, "We are guests of the Leng family's young master. If you want to chase us out, please come personally." "That's right. Let Leng Wudi do it himself." "Well, move out immediately." A cold female voice sounded in the ears of the four of them. Leng Rume raised her head furiously and looked in the direction of the voice. She was about to scold him when she was stunned by the drop-dead gorgeous appearance of the person who spoke. The person who spoke was naturally the extremely protective Leng Ruoxue. She was originally studying the divine pill in the bracelet, but she was told by Qing Ju that an uninvited guest came to visit. Therefore, she left the bracelet with the freak. However, she heard this conversation as soon as she walked out of the room, so she interrupted. Who are you?" Leng Rume questioned with raging jealousy after coming back to her senses. She kept cursing in her heart. Damn it, how could this woman be so beautiful? She originally thought that Lan Ning'er was beautiful enough, but Lan Ning'er was simply trash compared to the woman in front of her. At this moment, she didn't expect that if Lan Ning'er was trash, then what was she? She couldn't even compare to Lan Ning'er. Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue smiled lightly, her beautiful eyes casually glancing at Leng Rume. Moreover, she saw through Leng Rume's nature with a single glance. This little Mei looked pretty, but she was also not easy to deal with. "Your surname is Leng too?" Leng Rume was stunned and asked. This was the first time she saw Leng Ruoxue's face, so it naturally gave her a greater shock. "What? Can't my surname be Leng?" Leng Ruoxue asked with a spurious smile. "Of course not. Not everyone is qualified to have the surname Leng," Leng Rume roared domineeringly. "But my old ancestor's surname is Leng. I can't change it to another surname, right? My old ancestor might have died long ago, but at least he has left the bloodline for me, so I can only use this surname. Miss Leng, please don't take it to heart," Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Moreover, the corner of her beautiful eyes obviously noticed the uncomfortable expression of the man beside Leng Rume when she said that her old ancestor might die. "Humph. You can't stay in the plum garden even if your surname is Leng. Move out of here immediately and leave proud cold city," Leng Rume said as if she was facing a formidable enemy. The internal competition that was held once every 10 years by the three families was about to begin. She definitely couldn't let this woman stay here and spoil her plans. "Miss Leng, don't you understand me? We are Leng Wudi's guests. Even if you are the young lady of the Leng family, you are not qualified to chase us away," Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. Leng Rume was about to continue when she was interrupted by the man beside her. "Rume, don't be rude," the man reprimanded lightly. "Yes, Grand Elder." Leng Rume immediately became as obedient as a kitten. Leng Ruoxue and the man glared at each other, neither of them speaking first. After a while, the man said gloomily, "Lass, you're not bad." Alas! He could tell that this girl was not afraid of him at all. Otherwise, she would not have stared at him without blinking. In the end, he could not take it and admitted defeat first. Boo-hoo. He had lived for so long, but he could not even glare at a little girl. This was really too embarrassing. However, looking at this stubborn girl, he had a premonition that their path to becoming relatives would probably be very bumpy. "The Grand Elder of the Leng family?" Leng Ruoxue murmured thoughtfully. In fact, she had noticed this man when she walked out of the room, but she deliberately ignored him. Moreover, she had guessed that this man was most likely related to the Ling Feng continent, but she didn't know if he was the one who wanted to see them. Yes, you're from the Ling Feng continent, the Grand Elder confirmed, and couldn't help being a little excited. They really didn't expect to see juniors from the Ling Feng continent. They thought that the Leng family from that continent was already gone. Yes, we are indeed from the Ling Feng continent, Leng Ruoxue didn't deny it. In fact, she knew that she probably couldn't deny it even if she wanted to since she came to the Leng family. Ling Feng continent? What is that place? Leng Rume couldn't help but interrupt. She had never heard of that place. The Ling Feng continent is the lower realm you mentioned, Leng Ruoxue explained with a light smile. Lower realm? So you came from a village. No wonder you're so ignorant. Let me tell you, don't think that just because your surname is Leng, you can climb onto our Leng family. Our Leng family won't raise you bumpkins for nothing, Leng Rume reminded with a face full of disdain. Leng Ruoxue was speechless after hearing Leng Rumai's words. She only knew today that the Ling Feng continent was considered a countryside in their eyes. Moreover, why was she inexperienced? She didn't seem to have done anything embarrassing, right? Moreover, they weren't the ones who were coming to the Leng family. Thinking of this, she couldn't help saying indifferently, Miss Leng, please understand something first. We didn't want to come to the Leng family. Your young master brought us here. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. So what? Don't think that our Leng family will accept you just because you can seduce third brother. Let me tell you, as long as I'm around, you can forget about marrying into the Leng family, Leng Rume self-righteously roared. Ha! Leng Ruoxue was so angry that she was amused. Did this eldest miss of the Leng family have a delusional disorder? She used her gaze to ask the Grand Elder, but he returned her an innocent look. Moreover, the expression on his face was obviously wanting to watch the commotion. Damn it, why are you laughing? Leng Rume questioned angrily. Chapter 778, The Elder Arrives, 1, What? You don't allow others to laugh. Miss Leng cares a lot, Leng Ruoxue said speechlessly. Alas! Why couldn't she meet normal daughters of noble families? Could it be that the feng shui of noble families was bad, so they were raised astray? You're not allowed to smile in my territory. Leng Rume was furious because Leng Ruoxue's smile was really too annoying, making her very uncomfortable. Miss Leng, are all the daughters of the Leng family like you? Leng Ruoxue widened her beautiful eyes and looked at Leng Rume carefully as if she was looking at a rare animal. She asked curiously. What do you mean? Leng Rume was stunned and puzzled. How rude. We are guests invited by the young master of the Leng family after all, but not only do you say we are bumpkins, you don't even allow us to smile. Alas! We know that we are from a small place, so we don't dare to request you to treat us well. We just hope that those Tom, Dick, and Harry won't bother us. Can't you even satisfy this small request of ours? Leng Ruoxue said with a face full of disappointment. Leng Ruoxue, do you want to die? How dare you say that I have no upbringing? Leng Rume was furious when she heard these words. She didn't listen carefully to what Leng Ruoxue said after that. Why don't I want to live? I'm only 20 years old, and am in my prime. Moreover, I haven't pounced on my man yet. I can't let others take advantage of me for nothing, so I have to live well, Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Humph. You humiliated me. Do you think you can still live? Leng Rume said proudly. She really wanted to destroy Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face. What did I humiliate you about? Did I say that you don't have a good upbringing? Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Humph. I'm the eldest daughter of the Leng family. You said that I don't have a patriarch. Not only did you humiliate me, but you also humiliated the patriarch. Therefore, the Leng family will definitely not let you go. Leng Rumei said confidently. In her eyes, Leng Ruoxue was almost dead. How will the Leng family deal with me? I'm so scared. Leng Ruoxue whispered fearfully, tears rolling in her beautiful eyes. Leng Ruoxue, I can spare you on the account that your surname is Leng. However, I want you to kneel down and kowtow to me 100 times, and even destroy your appearance. Then forget about humiliating me, Leng Rumei said self-righteously. Kowtow 100 times and destroy my appearance? Miss Leng is really kind. Leng Ruoxue said mockingly. It's good that you know. If the Leng family finds out, you'll die. However, if you're willing to do as I say, I'll let you live. How about that? It's very worth it, right? Leng Rumei said with a face full of charity. Miss Leng, let me consider it. Leng Ruoxue glanced at the Grand Elder gently and said with a spurious smile. Okay, I'll give you 3 days to consider. Either you die or do as I say, Leng Rumei said as if she was being kind. Okay, Ruoxue thanks Miss Leng first. I won't see you out. Help yourself. With that, Leng Ruoxue turned around and returned to her room as if no one was around, and the freak hiding in the corner followed. Rumei, let's go back, the Grand Elder said softly to Leng Rumei when he saw that there was no more commotion to watch. A trace of disgust quickly flashed in his eyes. Yes, Leng Rumei said hurriedly, her heart jumping with joy. Hee hee. The Grand Elder didn't accuse her of being nosy just now. He was obviously on her side. After Ruoxue and the Grand Elder left, Leng Ruhan looked at Empty in puzzlement, as if he wanted to see some clues from his face. Are there flowers on my face? Empty said with a light smile. Ah. Leng Ruhan's affectionate gaze would cause others to misunderstand. No, I'm just a little puzzled. Aren't their reactions a little too calm? Are we going to let that woman leave just like that? Leng Ruhan said angrily. That woman was really too vicious. Not only did she want her precious sister to kowtow to her, but she also wanted to ruin her sister's beautiful face. Well, perhaps that was her main goal. Alas. A woman's jealousy was really too terrifying. What else? This is the Leng family's territory. Do you think we can walk out of Proud Cold City alive if we kill their eldest young miss in the Leng family? Moreover, they were just testing each other just now. As for that Leng Rumei, she's just a clown. Schwer isn't killing her now just to accumulate more of that woman's evil deeds. When the time comes, even if the Leng family is angry, they won't do anything to us if we kill her. Because we're in the right. Empty explained. Hee hee. This was also what he especially admired about that girl. Not only would Schwer not let others find any fault with the person she wanted to get rid of, she would also let others think that that person deserved it. She deserved to die. But, Leng Ruhan was about to say something when Empty interrupted him. You're too concerned. Think about it. Would Schwer let herself be at a disadvantage? She didn't fuss about it this time only to give those old things from the Leng family face. However, would she give face again and again? Moreover, with that woman's temperament, it's impossible not to provoke Schwer, Empty said understandingly. What you said makes sense, but I'm just too angry. It's not like I'm here specially to let the Leng family humiliate my precious sister, Leng Ruhan said in an unfriendly tone. Calm down. Schwer has her own plans, Empty said comfortingly. Yes, I know. Leng Ruhan nodded. Rest early. Perhaps the Leng family will come again tomorrow, Empty said with a smile. Hee hee. He should be able to watch a lot of good shows when he came to the Leng family this time. Okay. Leng Ruhan nodded, and the two returned to their rooms. Leng Ruoxue and the freak had already entered the bracelet. In the purple bamboo hut, the two of them sat in each other's arms, but neither of them spoke. After enjoying a moment of silence, the freak smiled and asked, Schwer, are you afraid of the Leng family? No, Leng Ruoxue said very simply. The Leng family might be an unshakable colossus in the eyes of others, but if she wanted to attack, she would also make the Leng family suffer. Then why did you let Leng Rumei go just now? The freak pretended to be puzzled. His eyes glittered coldly, and a trace of bloodthirsty killing intent flashed quickly. Chapter 779, The Elder Arrives, 2. I was prepared to meet such a person since I came to the Leng family, so it's only a matter of time before I kill him. Moreover, I want to see the Leng family's attitude. After all, Leng Rumei doesn't represent the entire Leng family, Leng Ruoxue explained. Sure, I'm afraid that the Grand Elder is also waiting to see our attitude, the freak reminded. Yes, that's normal. He has to know if our descendants are worth his investment. Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. Freak, rest early. We have to recover and prepare to deal with the endless Leng family, Leng Ruoxue reminded again. Okay. The freak nodded, and then the two of them hugged each other to sleep. Early the next morning, Leng Wudi reported to Plum Garden. Leng Ruoxue was a little speechless as she looked at Leng Wudi, who was waiting for them in the living room. Young Master Leng, you're a little too early. Leng Ruoxue rolled her eyes. Yes, I specially came early to have breakfast with you, Leng Wudi said pompously. I'm sorry, young Master Leng didn't prepare breakfast, Leng Ruoxue said rudely. No way. Swear, can you bear to let me starve? Leng Wudi said with a long face, his handsome face full of bitterness. I can bear to. You're not related to me. What does hunger have to do with me? However, what's with your expression? Could it be that something happened to a relative in the family? Leng Ruoxue said very implicitly, her words a little venomous. You're so heartless. Alas. Nothing has happened to anyone in my family yet, but it should be soon, Leng Wudi said nonchalantly, as if they were discussing other people's affairs. What did you talk about when Leng Rumei and the Grand Elder came yesterday? Leng Wudi asked curiously. Nothing. I had an unhappy encounter with Miss Leng. She asked me to kowtow 100 times and destroy my appearance. Otherwise, she said that the Leng family won't let me go, Leng Ruoxue described simply. Ah. Ha. Leng Wudi was stunned, but he couldn't help laughing hysterically. He was laughing so happily that he almost rolled on the ground. Is it that funny? Leng Ruoxue sighed and asked Leng Wudi, who was laughing exaggeratedly. Yes, of course. Did she say that in front of the Grand Elder? Leng Wudi was very curious. Yes, I said it in front of that old man, but he didn't react. Leng Ruoxue added in her heart, purely wanting to see him make a fool of himself. Hee hee. She's dead meat too, Leng Wudi said happily, unable to hide the joy on his face. Isn't that your sister? Leng Ruoxue reminded helplessly. My mother only gave birth to me, Leng Wudi said with slight disgust. He might pretend to be siblings in front of others, but he felt that it was unnecessary in front of Leng Ruoxue and the others. Her mother still doesn't have a title. And my mother isn't willing to raise them, so they wouldn't have any status in the Leng family at all if my father didn't love them more, Leng Wudi explained. Are the children already so old? Isn't your father willing to give a name to the person who gave birth to them? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. He wants to give it, but my mother and grandfather don't agree, so he can't do anything. However, he's already the patriarch now, so he should give that woman a title. Leng Wudi guessed. Oh. Leng Ruoxue answered lightly and then said to Leng Wudi, go have breakfast. Leng Wudi immediately stood up with a smile and followed Leng Ruoxue to the dining hall. Someone from the Leng family came to visit just after breakfast. In the garden, Leng Ruoxue looked at the beautiful woman in her early 30s. Her first impression of her was very good. Well, this woman was very beautiful. However, it was not the kind of beauty that was breathtaking at a glance, but like mellow wine, the more she tasted, the more fragrant she became. Moreover, this woman was also a mystic sovereign like her. I'm Leng Shuang, Wudi's mother, the woman named Leng Shuang introduced herself. Her beautiful eyes kept circling Leng Ruoxue. Moreover, the more she looked, the more satisfied she was. Well, this girl was not bad. Woody had good taste. I'm Leng Ruoxue. Well. You should be older than me. I'll call you big sister. Leng Ruoxue said with a fox-like smile on her face. Well. This woman's gaze at her was becoming more and more fervent, and she had to be wary. Big sister. Leng Shuang was stunned and a little depressed. This seniority was too poor. May I know why big sister is here? Leng Ruoxue asked bluntly. Oh. To see me, of course, to see you. Leng Shuang originally wanted to say that she wanted to see her daughter-in-law, but she was afraid of scaring the little girl, so she quickly corrected herself. I heard from Leng Rume that you are invincible, Leng Shuang probed. She deliberately stopped mid-sentence because she really couldn't read this little girl's mind now. This girl probably didn't treat Woody as she thought. Big sister, how can I believe the words of the eldest daughter of the Leng family? She wants me to destroy my appearance and kowtow 100 times. Moreover, she only gave me 3 days to consider, Leng Ruoxue complained. There's such a thing. Why? Leng Shuang was a little puzzled and couldn't help hating in her heart. Leng Rume was indeed like her mother, both vicious. Because I said that she doesn't have a good upbringing. She wants to chase us away and even said that we are bumpkins, Leng Ruoxue explained, her beautiful face full of grievance. Hee hee. She knew how to act too, and she was definitely better at it than Leng Rume. She indeed doesn't have any upbringing. Don't be afraid. She won't dare to do anything to you with me around, Leng Shuang promised. For some reason, she liked Leng Ruoxue the moment she saw her, so she naturally resembled her. Big sister, I'm afraid I'll accidentally do something to her. Leng Ruoxue said innocently. Ah. Ha. That's okay. I'm here. Leng Shuang was stunned, and then she said with a smile, haha. This girl really won my heart. Chapter 780, The Elder Arrives, 3, Okay, I'm relieved, Leng Ruoxue said with a sigh of relief. Lass, is there really nothing between you and Woody? Leng Shuang asked stubbornly. Alas. How good would it be if this girl could be her daughter-in-law? Big sister, I already have a fiancé, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. She could feel that this woman liked her, and she had a good impression of Leng Shuang, so she naturally told the truth to put an end to Leng Shuang's thoughts. Alas. That's a pity. In that case, I'll acknowledge you as my god-sister. Leng Shuang said after some thought. This girl might be much younger than her, but she just found her pleasing to the eye. Moreover, she couldn't say that she wanted to acknowledge her as her god-sister since she was calling her elder sister. Therefore, it was more suitable to be her god-sister. Then I'll acknowledge you as my elder sister, Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Well. The fate between people was so strange. She and Leng Shuang felt like old friends at first sight even though it was their first time meeting. Moreover, she knew very well that Leng Shuang recognized her as her sister and had the idea of being her backer. Therefore, she couldn't refuse Leng Shuang's good intentions or the good feelings between the two of them. Good sister. Alas. I've wanted a sister since I was young so that I could dote on her well. I finally have one today, Leng Shuang said happily, the joy on her face absolutely coming from the bottom of her heart. Mother. How can you treat her as your sister? Leng Ruoxue and Leng Shuang were chatting happily. Leng Woody, who was hiding in the dark and eavesdropping, couldn't help but jump out. Boo-hoo. He was only stunned for a moment, but an ant actually ran out. This was really. He was about to go crazy. Why can't I acknowledge her as my sister? Leng Shuang asked in puzzlement. Well. She really didn't know why her son had such a big reaction when she only acknowledged her as a sister. She was originally my friend. Now that you've acknowledged her as your sister, what should I call her? Leng Woody asked through gritted teeth, his face red. Well, of course he was angry. We acknowledge us. It has nothing to do with you. We are still friends. However, I won't object if you want to call me aunt, Leng Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. You, don't even think about it. Leng Wudi glared and shouted. He wouldn't call that little girl his aunt. He wouldn't even call her that. Ha! Leng Wudi's strong reaction couldn't help making the two very unscrupulous women laugh happily. In fact, they knew very well that this was only between the two of them and had nothing to do with their relatives, so they naturally didn't expect such a reaction from their families. Silly boy, well, hand ours over, and you'll hand yours over. The well water doesn't flow like the river, Leng Shuang said with a smile. Oh. Leng Wudi answered gloomily, thinking that was more like it. However, he remembered his reaction just now and wanted to find a hole to burrow into. Boo-hoo. It was really too embarrassing. Hee, Schwer, I just came to see you today, so I won't disturb you for too long. I'll go back first. I'll invite you to the main mansion as guests in a few days. You have to give big sister face. Leng Shuang emphasized. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded and then sent Leng Shuang out of the plum garden. However, Leng Wudi didn't leave with his mother. Not only that, Leng Wudi also found a very lousy excuse to stay in the plum garden. 3 days passed quickly. No one had come to the plum garden since Leng Shuang came. Even Leng Rume, who gave Leng Ruoxue 3 days to consider, didn't appear. She couldn't help being a little puzzled. In the May garden. Leng Ruoxue sat on a stone bench and looked at Leng Wudi, who was lying on a recliner in the garden and basking in the sun comfortably. She asked with a light smile, Young Master Leng, why didn't Leng Rume come? 3 days have passed. I don't know. I haven't been back to the Leng family for a few days. You know that, Leng Wudi said irresponsibly. In fact, he also hoped that that woman would come. This way, he would have a chance to watch. Unfortunately, Leng Rume actually didn't appear. Alas. It was really too disappointing. That woman didn't have the slightest awareness of being a bad person. How unprofessional. Go back and scout for news and remind her. Leng Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. What benefits? Leng Wudi raised his eyebrows slightly and asked lightly. You're eating and staying here for nothing, and you want benefits? Leng Ruoxue said in disbelief. Heavens! Where did that noble young master of the Leng family, who was like a god, go? The person in front of her was obviously a scoundrel. Yes, I'm not eating and staying for nothing. I'm accompanying you, Leng Wudi said matter-of-factly. Leng Wudi, I find that your skin is becoming thicker and thicker, Leng Ruoxue said speechlessly. Alas! Poor Leng family. They were blinded by Leng Wudi's seemingly noble side. In fact, this scoundrel appearance was his true appearance. Thank you for the compliment. Leng Wudi said happily. Leng Ruoxue didn't know what to do with his shameless appearance, so she simply turned her head and ignored him. Leng Wudi didn't care. His gaze drifted to Leng Ruoxue from time to time, and the atmosphere in the garden immediately fell silent. After a long time, Feng Da's appearance broke the silence in the garden. Miss, the 3rd and 10th elders of the Leng family are here to see you, Feng Da said bluntly as he walked into the garden. Well. It was so quiet. There were obviously several people in the garden, but no one spoke. It was really too strange. See me? Okay, Feng Da, ask them to wait in the living room. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Well. Someone from the Leng family finally came knocking on her door. Yes, miss. Feng Da answered and then left. 10 minutes passed. Leng Ruoxue had no intention of getting up. After another 10 minutes, Leng Ruoxue still didn't move. Empty, who had been playing chess with Leng Ruhan, couldn't help asking curiously when he saw Leng Ruoxue's calm appearance, Schwer, when are we going to see the 3rd elder and the 10th elder? I'm the one she wants to see. It has nothing to do with you, so you just have to stay in the dark, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently, not anxious at all. Chapter 781, The Elder Arrives, 4, I know. I'm just reminding you that it's been 20 minutes. Those two elders are probably anxious from waiting, Empty said with a light smile. Oh, in that case, I'll go take a look. Leng Ruoxue stood up reluctantly. The freak and the others followed closely behind, but she was the only one who entered the living room. Leng Ruoxue heard angry complaints as soon as she stepped into the living room. That Leng Ruoxue is too much. She's only from the lower realm, but she actually dares to put on airs in front of our main family. I have to tell her the rules of our Leng family properly later. The 10th elder sitting in the chair had never received such treatment, so he had nowhere to vent his anger. Okay, then you have to tell me in detail, 3rd elder echoed with a chuckle, but he couldn't help snickering in his heart. Don't worry, I know the clan rules well. I won't miss a single one, the 10th elder promised. Elders, do you want to see me? Leng Ruoxue asked after listening for a while and walked slowly into the living room. You are Leng Ruoxue? The 10th elder narrowed his eyes and looked at the woman in front of him, stunned. Well. No wonder Rume was so afraid of her. Leng Ruoxue really couldn't be left alive. Yes, I am. I'm from a small place. I don't know any manners, so I won't bow to the two elders. Leng Ruoxue sat down directly on the main seat after speaking. The 10th elder was so angry when she sat down. He had never been looked down upon by a junior like this in all his years as an elder. Leng Ruoxue. You really don't know the rules. How can a junior like you sit here in front of me? Hurry up and kneel down. Today, I'll teach you the clan rules. The 10th elder roared with full force, his muddy eyes even revealing a disdainful expression. Kneel? I'm sorry, I don't kneel to the sky or the ground. Apart from my parents who died early, only my grandfather is qualified to make me kneel now. You are not qualified. Leng Ruoxue's cold voice reverberated in the living room, but it also angered the 10th elder half to death. You are just a servant of our Leng family. I'm willing to let you kneel because I think highly of you. Don't be ungrateful, and don't blame me for not reminding you. Defying the elders and not differentiating between seniors and juniors is a serious crime in our Leng family. It would be a light punishment even if we exiled you. In serious cases, we would kill you directly, the 10th elder said proudly. Thank you for your reminder. However, I don't need you to think highly of me. Moreover, I want to know, when did I become a servant of your Leng family? Do I have an indenture contract? Leng Ruoxue said with a face full of question marks. Her beautiful eyes kept looking up and down at the old man in front of her, her beautiful face full of surprise. You're from the lower realm. You should be grateful that our Leng family is willing to take you in. We think highly of you by making you servants. Not just anyone in our Leng family can do it. Moreover, you don't have much contribution to the family. We can't let the family raise you for nothing, right? And you're from a small place and have not seen the world. The family really doesn't have any work suitable for you except to be servants. Therefore, from tomorrow onwards, you will be the eldest Miss Maidservant. As for your elder brother, let him serve the 4th young master. Your grandfather will follow by my side and serve me closely, the 10th elder said with a benevolent appearance. As he spoke, he had already arranged all the work for Leng Ruoxue, her grandfather, and her granddaughter. Do you mean that we can only be servants after returning to the family because we came from the lower realm? Leng Ruoxue asked uncertainly. Of course, the family can take you in, but we can't raise you for nothing, the 10th elder said with disdain. Then can I think that all the Leng family members who come from the Ling Feng continent have to be servants after returning to the family? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. Of course. What can the Leng family from such a small continent do if they don't become servants? It's already good enough that our Leng family is willing to take you in. How dare you pick the 3rd and 4th, the 10th elder said angrily. But I don't want to be a servant. What should I do? Leng Ruoxu's beautiful face was full of difficulties. Leng Ruoxue. Do you still want to be the young lady of the Leng family if you don't want to be a servant? Let me tell you, don't be delusional. Be a good girl and be the maidservant of the eldest Mississippi. Don't forget that you've humiliated Miss Rume before. Humph. Do you think you can still sit here unscathed if Miss Rume wasn't kind-hearted and didn't fuss about it with you? One has to know how to repay favors and not be ungrateful. The 10th elder's pompous big hat was directly placed on Leng Ruoxu's head. Humph. He didn't believe that Leng Ruoxue would not be afraid of the Leng family's punishment. In fact, he couldn't be blamed for being so confident. If he had to blame, he could only blame Leng Ruoxu's reputation for being too small and her limelight not being loud enough. Moreover, it had already been 2 years ago since the last time she showed off. There were many mystics who became famous in one fell swoop every year in the boundless heaven continent. However, many of them were short-lived and would be drowned by history very quickly. A night bloom like Leng Ruoxue naturally couldn't enter the eyes of the super families. After all, they had never really seen Leng Ruoxu's strength. Therefore, even if they had heard Leng Ruoxu's name, they had long thrown it to the back of their minds. Moreover, Leng Ruoxue and the others liked to hide their strength, so it also led the 10th elder and the others to make the wrong judgment. Leng Ruoxue was very speechless after hearing what the 10th elder said because she really couldn't understand what favor someone had given her. She had to repay kindness with gratitude. Wouldn't it be ungrateful if she didn't? Could it be that the brain structure of an elder was different from ordinary people? Thinking of this, she turned her gaze to another old man. Well, that old man had no other reaction except to drink tea. Old man, our entire family is not interested in being a servant of the Leng family. Give this honor to others. Leng Ruoxue said indifferently after a while. Leng Ruoxue. Do you really think you're the Leng family's young miss? Humph. I really don't know which improper Leng family gave birth to a bastard from your side branch. Do you think it's so easy to hug the thigh of our Leng family? Since the family took you in, you have to work to the death for the family. Don't be ungrateful. You have to do whatever the family arranges for you obediently. Do you still want to live on the boundless heaven continent if you dare to go against the family? The 10th elder roared while blowing his beard and glaring. Chapter 782, The Popular Meeting Hall. 1. Old man, I'm also very curious which dishonest person created a rotten seed like you. Leng Ruoxue retorted rudely. At the same time, she couldn't help muttering in her heart, could this old man have been bitten by a dog? Otherwise, why would he be so crazy? Moreover, she was very sure that she had never seen this old man before. The conversation between Leng Ruoxue and the 10th elder shocked the 3rd elder, who had not said a word by the side, into a cold sweat. The tea in his mouth was directly spat out. Then he couldn't help reaching out to wipe the sweat off his forehead, thinking, these two people are really too fierce. They even scolded the ancestors of the Leng family. They are really too terrifying. Well, he should continue to keep a low profile. Their conversation isn't suitable for him. What do you mean? What does the upper beam have to do with me? The 10th elder actually didn't understand Leng Ruoxue's meaning, and he asked shamelessly. It's a big deal. The upper beam isn't straight, but the lower beam is crooked this time. Leng Ruoxue explained with a light smile. You little bastard with a father and no mother to teach you. How dare you humiliate my Leng family's old ancestor? I think you're really tired of living. Guards, serve my family law. The 10th elder finally understood this time and was so angry that he roared directly. He even thought that he was in the Leng family's main residence, and there were guards waiting for orders outside at any time. Leng Ruoxue quickly dodged to the front of the 10th elder and raised her hand rudely when she heard what the 10th elder said. Immediately, there was a pa, pa, pa sound, and afterimages flashed quickly. The 10th elder's face had already been slapped dozens of times, and he was sitting motionlessly in the chair. It was obvious that he had been beaten silly. Damn old man, you're the bastard. How dare you talk about my parents? You're really tired of living. Leng Ruoxue said as she fought. If this old man only came for her, she might not have dealt with him now. However, he actually involved her parents, whom she had never seen before, who gave her life. This was absolutely not something she could tolerate. Therefore, the 10th elder was in tragedy. Miss, take a break. Let us do it. Fengde and the others, who had been hiding in the dark, hurriedly ran into the living room when they saw Leng Ruoxue attack. Ah! How could they let Miss attack someone with such manual labor? Fengde grabbed the dazed 10th elder off the chair like he was catching a chicken. This pull also woke the 10th elder up. However, he was beaten up painfully by Cheng Wu and the others who swarmed him before he could say a word. The 10th elder might be a mystic sovereign and had a sturdy body, but even so, he couldn't help being punched and kicked by dozens of mystic sovereigns and above. Therefore, he fainted on the spot. Damn, how dare you humiliate my young miss? How dare you let my young miss be that damn woman's maidservant? In your dreams. That woman isn't even qualified to be my young miss maidservant. Fengde scolded as he beat her up. Damn it. The Leng family is nothing. My young miss doesn't care. Our young miss has many subordinates. One kick from each of them can kill you. One spit from each of them can drown you. Today, we must make you come in vertically and go out horizontally. Cheng Wu said while kicking. Cold sweat dripped down the 3rd elder's forehead when he saw the tragic appearance of the 10th elder sitting in the chair. Oh! These people were really too barbaric. Fortunately, he didn't offend them. However, they wouldn't do anything together, right? Boo-hoo. Don't. He was innocent. He was just here to watch the commotion. Don't be scared. My subordinates won't hurt the innocent. Leng Ruoxue saw the nervousness of the other old man and comforted him kindly. Oh. That's good. 3rd elder was relieved to hear Leng Ruoxue's words. You must be 3rd elder. Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. Yes, I'm 3rd elder, 3rd elder said hurriedly. Go back and tell your patriarch that I won't take this old man's life first. Ask him to take good care of it for me, Leng Ruoxue said calmly. Shuer, I heard that someone wants us to be servants. Leng Ruhan's voice sounded in the living room. Big brother, Grandpa, you're back. Leng Ruoxue smiled happily when she saw the 2 people walking into the living room. Well. Grandpa and Big Brother went for a walk on the streets. She didn't expect them to be back so soon. Yes, Shuer. I heard that someone arranged work for the 3 of us as soon as Grandpa returned. Leng Qingtian said in surprise. Yes, that old man. Leng Ruoxue pointed at the 10th elder, who had been beaten up so badly that his human form couldn't be seen. Well. Shuer, even if they want us to be servants, you can't beat them into a pig's head, right? Leng Qingtian pretended to be displeased and accused her. Well. If there wasn't an old man sitting in the hall now, he also wanted to beat him up twice. Grandpa, I beat him up because he said I'm a little bastard with a father and no mother, Leng Ruoxue explained lightly. What? 2 angry roars sounded at the same time. In an instant, they saw the grandfather and granddaughter rushing at the 10th elder at the same time, and several streams of fiery red mystic energy blasted onto the 10th elder together. Ah! The 3rd elder hurriedly turned his head from the chair, not daring to look at the 10th elder's miserable appearance. At the same time, his little heart kept trembling. Boo-hoo. It seemed like this family had violent factors. Grandpa, Big Brother, don't kill him. I don't want him to die so quickly, Leng Ruoxue reminded. Don't worry, we know our limits, Leng Qingtian promised and then stopped attacking. 3rd elder, take this trash away. Don't pollute the land of the plum garden. Leng Ruoxue ordered him to leave and then let everyone out of the living room. After walking out of the living room, Leng Ruoxue didn't find the freak and empty. She couldn't help looking at Leng Wuti curiously and asked, "Where did the freak and empty go?" I don't know either. Leng Wuti's gaze was a little evasive as he stammered. Don't know. Leng Ruoxue's face was full of doubts. It would be strange if he didn't know, seeing Leng Wuti's guilty expression. Well, could those two fellows have done something bad behind her back? I really don't know. However, they borrowed my flying beast. Leng Wuti beckoned a little. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.